Good morning and welcome to the Red Net Show, where it's always morning, even in the afternoon. I am your host, Jay Edgar. Welcome to Season 3 of the Red Net Show, by the way. As you can hear by the new intro music here, we have moved out of the cruel summer, and we have moved into the haunted fall. Thank you to Jam and Sam Miller for his great remix of the Forest Interlude from Donkey Kong Country 2 with its spooky woo music, bringing us back into this here. I am your host, Jay Edgar, and I'm joined this week, as we still await our wonderful co-host Elaine's return, by John from the Porch Boys, coming back after about 2 months it's been since you've been here. How have you been?
I've been doing good, man. Been doing good.
No sunglasses today.
No, I dropped those. You know, that was in the past, John. Right? That was a past, John. I'm no longer the same person, so I no longer wear the same shades.
I heard a different story while we were off mic.
Yeah, no, I'm just too lazy to go to my car and get them. That's really all it is. They're in my car.
And by the way, thank you for asking. I have been. It's been a week for sure. I know that I had some stuff to do. I was a little bit behind the 8 ball as far as the itinerary went. I didn't get to that until late last night, but I did it on live stream. I put up a live stream. I worked on it last night. Oh, it was only Twitch. I didn't do anything on YouTube, and people seemed to like it. They watched it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool. I got a few watchers watching through there, mostly on DLive. But yeah, they just kind of sat around and watched and shot the shit as I reorganized the articles.
Yeah,
we threw it up as just chatting, and yeah, it was. I think we're going to do that more often here. But in all of the news that I got to last night, we have got a ton of shit to get to. There's only 4 main topics, but there's a ton of information in those 4 main topics. It is just a little bit ridiculous how this week went. So I trust you saw the document. You saw some of the bullshit that we got to go through here.
I did, yeah. It's a lot there.
Congress is voting right now as to whether or not they can, A, have a stopgap bill, which I don't know why it's a stopgap. They just keep making them here. But have a stopgap bill to keep the government open until December of next year and raise the debt ceiling. So we'll talk a bit about some of the consequences, some of the nature behind both of those, and what could go on with both of those as well. Plus a little bit of let's say drama over the Iron Dome funding, which I thought was kind of fun to watch as we went throughout the week. Immigration has been a massive hot point throughout this week here, including photos of, mounted Border Patrol officers. They tried to tell us they were whipping Haitian migrants, but I don't see it. Of course, I've been around a horse before too, so I might be able to see this just a little bit different here, but we'll talk a bit about that, some of the investigations that are going on through that. A bizarre story about a former Trump staffer from earlier on in the month that made headlines with the Haitian news crisis, plus a little bit of the Afghan migrant crisis as well, as there's a rape case here in my state and another one in Texas, so we'll talk just a bit about those. The Arizona audit has concluded, and much to what I was predicted of, everybody backed into their own corners and went into their own narratives, but we'll talk a bit about what some of the narratives were and what that means and what this goes to from here. And of course, because the commie fucking coof will never leave us, we've got some COVID news. We will be talking about some religious exemptions, the religion itself of the vaccine, which I think is stupid. A little bit of news from your state as your governor decides to take it upon himself to get some monoclonal antibodies. And an anecdotal case of a woman in Idaho who was 20 years old and died of the COVID. Was that the only reason? I guess we'll discuss that. Plus, I got a little bit of surprise stupidity for you at the end of the show here, which I think you're going to find hilarious, especially given some of the hobbies that I know you have. Ooh. I was telling you a little bit off mic that it was hard to do surprise stupidity because there was so much stupid shit this week. I almost did the Family Guy PSA as surprise stupidity. I almost did the KFC story as surprise stupidity, but I learned about that from you, so that wasn't really a surprise.
Yeah.
But I landed one. I think I found the right one. I think I found the one that we need to do here. It is going to be
now
all
you're
that.
hyping it up. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hyping it up. Of course I am.
Yeah.
It is going to be all this and more over on the Red Net Show. Thanks for tuning in to us over on YouTube, Twitch. No more Periscope, but we're on Twitter. I don't know where it streams to Twitter. I haven't found that yet, but it streams somewhere to Twitter. We're also on DLive as well. We are no longer on Trovo. After all the drama that went through there, and Steven getting kicked off Trovo, plus even though I don't really get along with him anymore, Matt Christensen also getting kicked off Trovo, and all those donations going away, I just said, nope. I'm in solidarity, and we are not doing Trovo on this platform anymore. So no more Trovo. The channel still exists. They will continue to be forced to hold my server for as long as they'll keep me on there. I will take up their server space, but they will get no more clicks out of me. Fuck off, Trovo. Also, you can go and check out a bunch of other shows here because we got a little bit more news coming up here from the front of people here that are really cool that hang out with us here, including something that we'll make an announcement for you as well. But we have the brand new TurnSomePagesProductions.com. We are in the fundraising stages right now, so we are looking to get about $2,000, and there is a GoFundMe available if you would like to come back and donate to that. I've already got $300 in donations here, which I think is awesome. So if you guys want to go and check that out, I will get a link into the chat for that. So if you guys want to go and throw a little bit there, the majority of that bill is going to go to development, to our wonderful web development, BJ Woods, who is a great web developer. I've looked over some of her work. That's the quote that she gave us for that. Plus, there's going to be a little bit extra on there to make sure that we get hosting for a year. So if you guys want to be an investor in the bottom level, definitely go ahead and hit that up. Or any donations that we have for the next 2 months coming out of this channel will go directly into that same account as well. So I'm not getting a penny out of this channel for a while, but definitely we will have the Porch Boys, we will have the Daily Ignoramus, the Breakdown with Birkenhoff, the R-Rated Conservative, and the Freckles and Brit Show, plus Contemporary and the Rednet Show will also be featured there. And we'll be doing written articles with our wonderful Editor-in-Chief, who has joined me here tonight. Editor-in-Chief of Turn Some Pages Productions.
Right. Yes, that's right.
I mean, it's going to be pretty much open call. No, it's going to be pretty much open call as we go. I mean, we'll obviously get rid of some of the blatantly racist stuff that comes in as open submission, but for the most part, it otherwise is going to be check it for spelling, grammar, capitalization, and such, and send it. So I think John will do a good job with that. I will also be helping out doing some of that as well. We've got a setup for there. John and I will talk a little bit about that behind the scenes as to how that's going to work. But yeah, we'll have an open place for you guys to come in and submit as well, and we can just come in and send it. So I look very forward to this. I think this is going to be a good thing for all the shows. I think this is going to be a good thing for all of us. And also having a web developer that is within reach. I love Jake for what he did for bringing us all together here like this. But he was, the only issue that I had at the end of Freedom Scoop, he was so unreachable. We couldn't get a hold of him anymore. But, I think we've corrected that. I think we're moving forward. Jake is moving forward in his life, which congratulations to him. I know it's hard to get in with the RNC, so absolutely congratulations to him. And that is going to be the next step for us. All right. You and the Porch Boys are in on full swing. I believe the last time you were here was the day before you started the Porch Boys.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was the day before we actually started. Yeah, I think you're right.
So you guys are...
6 episodes, 7 episodes, something like that. I think we're 7 now.
Yeah. Yeah, because tomorrow will be number 7. So you guys are in full swing, and now you have an idea how this is going to work here. So why don't you tell the audience a bit about yourself and a bit about your show?
Yeah, so I'm John. I'm the Porch Boys, if you can see up there. So I joined usually, actually not usually, every time so far, by my mostly retarded co-host, Seawall. I'm sure a lot of you know, and Midget, who, if you guys don't know, you're missing out. I fully recommend him. So what we do is we get together once a week, Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time, the only true time zone. And we just sit around. We do meme reviews. We do funny videos. We talk a little bit about the news, but we kind of keep it more light than what Ed might do or what Stephen might do or whoever else is doing news shows.
Or what we're about to do here.
Yeah, exactly what we're about to do here. But we keep it kind of light and fun as much as possible. So we're just all about having a good time, basically having a good time with you guys. There you go.
Yeah. So it's a good time. I have seen every episode so far, which I am proud to say here. So definitely some stuff going on here. Definitely some stuff to see. So make sure you guys go and check that out. You have admin privileges in the chat, I believe, still. If you're on your regular account, if you're on the Porch Boys, I don't think I've added that. But if you want to throw the link in for everybody else out there, go
I'll do
ahead and
that.
do so. Yeah, like I say, if you're on your personal one, you'll have admin privileges. I haven't added the Porch Boys one to that yet, but I will correct that if I see you guys in there on the other one and
Let
get you
me do.
guys modded up as well.
Do you want me to switch my account over? I'll
No, do
just
your
switch it.
personal one just to keep the flow of things going, and I'll deal with that later.
All right. There you go.
But yeah, you can throw that in there, and everybody go and check that channel out. It's a great time here. We have got to get into the news though, because there is a bunch of stuff to get to, and we got to stay on track for this. Even with the lightning around here, we got to stay right on track with that too, because there's so much here and there's so much other stuff to go to. So if you're ready, I'm ready, and we can go start doing this, I think.
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to start out here talking about the story that, it's on everybody's mind. We got to talk about it. We got to. I don't want to talk about it much, but it's been a big part of the week here, and that's talking about the Gabby Petito story. I think every other news channel for the week has made this a top story throughout the week here. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Until the trial gets here, until they bag this guy and the trial gets here, I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
But
when I first saw the story, like I saw it trending on Twitter. I first saw it and I kind of like looked at it and I saw some people talking about it, and it was at that moment that I decided I don't care about this story. I was just like, I don't. It was already huge by the time I found it, so it's just like, yeah, I can't watch it develop, right? I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, just doesn't interest me.
well,
This
the whole
missing
world
people
is
thing never really got me.
trying to break this whole thing down here. So, as of right now, they're saying that Brian Laundrie showed signs of domestic abuse. A criminal profiler says this is a major update on the story that I used on Contemporary because I didn't realize the story had changed until I actually opened this back up. So I'm reading this one fresh for the first time right now. Brian Laundrie showed telltale signs of a domestic abuser and a control freak in his erratic public behavior around fiancée Gabby Petito in the weeks before her death, and he may have had help evading authorities before investigators found her body, according to an expert criminal profiler. I think he's a coward on the run, John Kelly, longtime criminal profiler and psychotherapist, told Fox News. Knowing that he's a coward, where would we think that he would go? Do we think he's macho enough to go off to Mexico? I don't know about that, blah, 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 blah. And this is part of the reason that I did include this, because I almost didn't, is because I don't know if, I think this is going to be like the Rittenhouse case and like the, what the fuck is his name? The Chauvin case.
Chauvin, yeah.
Yeah.
Where
I
it's
don't
gonna be
think this
made
guy can get a
example
fair
of.
trial.
Yeah.
I don't think he can get a fair trial anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the problem with the court of public opinion. That's a big problem with media getting involved in these stories to begin with. Is, I mean, you're supposed to go in as a juror, especially being unbiased. But if you've watched any of the news of the past, week or so, you can't go in unbiased. No matter which side you're on, you can't go in
Yeah.
unbiased. It's impossible.
Yeah, and I think they're trying. The Rittenhouse case, for the most part, has stayed out of the public spotlight enough that I think he can. And plus, I know the judge in the case. I think he can get a somewhat fair trial, but it's still going to be. I mean, there's going to be protests outside the courthouse. There's going to be this.
Right.
There's going to be that. The next thing, and I really think that at the same time, when we look at the Laundrie case, they're saying it right out here in mainstream news, in mainstream fucking Fox News. He's a coward on the run.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's an inherent problem with the kind of, especially the 24-hour cycle, or 24-hour media that we have. I mean, they have to have something, and they have to sensationalize, and there's nothing can just be like a mundane story. Everything's like just blown up out of proportion.
Yeah. So that's what I'm concerned about, is whether or not there actually is going to be a fair trial. I guess we'll have to watch and see, but really, honestly, once they found out that she was passed away, I didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
If there might have been still a hunt out there, she might have still been alive. I'm like, okay, well, let's at least see if we can get her home safe. But yeah, we're at that point. A little bit of North Carolina news. After judges ruled 2018 law unconstitutional, what's next for the North Carolina voter ID law? This is from ABC 11. Jabari Holmes used a speech-generating device to communicate. He has cerebral palsy and is nonverbal, yet it hasn't stopped him from voting. Jabari, is voting important for you, said Elizabeth Holmes, who is Jabari's mother. Using the machine, Jabari responded, hell yes, it is. And this is another, and we'll be talking about this when we talk about the coup, when we talk about the anecdotal stuff, but this is another one where, this guy apparently can't go get an ID because he's nonverbal with cerebral palsy, but he's still running out to vote. And I mean, if we made policy on anecdotes, we wouldn't get a goddamn thing done, which I'm actually kind of okay with, but.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I was going to say, though, was like, imagine voting in the first place. Like, I made that mistake a couple of times, but I'm not doing it again. You're not going to catch me voting again. Not happening.
But I mean, the public policy, I mean, they're trying to, the vast majority of people have and can go and get an ID, but they can always drag these little anecdotes out here. As far as whether or not this guy is competent to vote, I mean, I don't know enough about cerebral palsy to know whether or not he would be. I know that Caleb, who was on here last week, has cerebral palsy, and he's competent enough to vote. I could definitely tell that from talking to him.
There's different degrees of it, obviously, right? I mean, not all of your cases as severe as like the one that they show, I guess. But yeah, but that's a common tactic. But I noticed mostly from the left. I mean, the right can be guilty of it as well.
Oh yeah, they
but
can.
As soon as you say like, oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, they'll drag these like the tiniest, like the most smallest fraction of a population or something, and they'll be like, oh look, so this is why we can't have this because like these 4 people will be affected. It's like, okay, well, I mean, that's how laws are made, though. Like, it's unfortunate. I wish we didn't have to have laws, but apparently we do. So, that's how they're made, though. They're made to affect the most amount of people possible, not not cater to the smallest amount of people possible.
Yeah.
I mean, that at least in theory, obviously, right? I mean, that's the point of them in theory.
Yeah. That's what we'll see coming off of this here. A little bit of news that you guys skipped on your show because it was still breaking at the time, but definitely was coming out later on in the week here. Evergrande out of China is set to make a $35.9 million onshore coupon payment on September 23rd. So that was 4 days ago. China's Evergrande Group's main unit said Wednesday it would make a bond interest payment on September 23rd, offering some relief to global markets on edge over possible default by China's number 2 property developer, which, by the way, I was kind of blown away by how much U.S. bonds that they have in this one firm, and how much this actually affected our markets for a couple days. Did you see anything on this?
No. That sounds like economics, and economics are boring as fuck. No, I'm just kidding. No, I haven't though. I don't. I don't usually do like Chinese news or news about China, whatever.
Well, apparently it's a big real estate holding in China, China proper. I know they are independent of the government, or they were. I'm guessing that the government has jumped in and taken over at this point, but. Yeah, they're doing so on a coupon. They're trying to get this done and paid out before China has to come in and take over. But I don't think it's going to go well, and I think that this is one of those things that's going to carry them over the edge as well. So it might take our economy with it, which is kind of on stilts as well.
I mean, you know what? At this point, just do it.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that later with the debt ceiling as well. So here's an interesting scene for you guys. This coming from the White House, because apparently it's okay for Boris Johnson to take questions, but not Joe Biden. Let's listen to what that sounded like.
Interrupts or unbalances the Belfast Good Friday Accords. That's the Belfast Good Friday Agreement. That's the.
All right, I won't subject your ears to any more of that, but
thanks.
Yeah, what essentially happened there was Boris Johnson finished asking a question from British media, and the American media in the room looked in and they decided to come in and start trying to ask Biden questions, at which point the White House aides ushered them loudly and quickly out of the room.
Yeah. I mean, Biden doesn't have to answer questions. Like, you think you plebs deserve answers? Get out of here.
Well, I mean, it's amazing to me though that like Boris Johnson was sitting literally next to him and answering questions.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, because like that's how those Brits are. I wonder what he was talking about with the Good Friday Agreement, though.
I did not look into this as we went to.
Okay.
No, I didn't look into that. But what I did look into is the fact that I think the press is finally starting to get pissed with the opaqueness of the red-haired bobblehead and the Biden administration whole, because the press pool has lodged a complaint with the press pool over the fact that they can't get access to have Biden answer questions anymore.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you can't have Biden just speaking off the cuff. Like that's not going to work. It never has. Not never has. It hasn't recently. In the past, what, like 10 years or so? No, probably more than that, since Obama, right? He was a gaffe machine when he was
Yeah,
vice
he
president
was.
as well. Yeah, and it's only gotten worse since. I mean, it's not
But
like his mental state has gotten better since then.
I mean, you do have to remember the most important part of the discussion, though. He's got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun.
It's true. He knows about kids sitting in his lap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
On that same vein, though, not capable of being commander in chief, GOP reps introduced articles of impeachment against Biden. This comes to us from Ben Shapiro's website over there, the Daily Wire. Bob Gibbs of Ohio introduced 3 articles of impeachment against President Biden on Tuesday, citing his handling of Afghanistan, immigration, and the now defunct federal eviction moratorium. It does not say, I believe, what the specifics in the articles are, but they have been signed on to with 26 other Republicans in the House. Unfortunately, they're not going to go anywhere because, Pelosi. But they're going to keep trying this again. This is like a monthly thing at this point.
yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's just, just dog and pony show. All this is. Like,
Yeah.
It's just not. Nothing substantive is going to come from it.
Here's an interesting one, especially with the breaking news today that the National Guard is also going to be helping out in New York with their hospital. But coming back from this past week here, Massachusetts has started to utilize the National Guard to drive school buses.
Oh no! So there's a little known amendment in the Bill of Rights. I believe it is a third amendment. Where you do not have to quarter soldiers in peacetime.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that one, I was surprised. I was like, of all the ones that are getting torn away, I would thought that one might last a little longer. But apparently, I can't wait for the day that we have to have a National Guardsman in each house. That's going to be interesting.
See, I don't know if that's what what it is right now is, because the National Guard is a state entity. It's not a federal entity, but
Yeah.
Massachusetts is tapping their National Guard to come in and
Right.
fill some of the gap because people don't want to go back to work. And
Yeah.
if we're not going to warmonger forever anymore, like we have been seeming to get away from, then yeah. Now, I looked into this here. The transport vans that they're using are known as 7D vehicles. They're not unless they actually have a CDL with a passenger endorsement to this. And on Contemporary, we actually talked about what this means because, I have a CDL and I know what all this means.
Right.
Unless they actually have a CDL with a school bus endorsement to it, which most of them don't, they can't drive a school bus with the kids in it. They can't even drive the E450 with the kids in it because of the number of passengers in there. But they are driving an E250 van, a 7-passenger van with kids in it, and they can do that because they can do that on a regular civilian driver's license. But yeah, they can't get in the big buses.
You would think that I know that there are drivers in the National Guard, and they got those big MRAPs and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
they might have a CDL or like some kind of equivalent for it.
Yeah, you
And
still
some
have
of
to
them-
have a
some of
school bus
them-
endorsement for it, though.
Ah, okay, yeah. I mean, that's pretty easy to get when you've got guns and stuff. Like, I mean, you're the National Guard. I'm sure they can just pull a couple strings and they'll be all right.
Yeah, actually, I worked at a school bus garage for a little while in the fleet, and that was one of the things because my CDL didn't cover driving the school bus with the kids on. I could get in the school bus and drive it normally, like if I had to go for a
Right.
test drive or something, but I couldn't do it with the kids on it because I don't have
Right.
the passenger endorsement for it.
Right.
But
Fair enough.
yeah, so that's happening. And Ohio is actually talking about doing this too. They haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but they're talking about it.
And yet, which states aren't doing that? I guess states that have been open for all except for the 3 months that they might have closed down for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
there's
Florida,
that, and then
such
the ones
as
that stripped away the unemployment benefits too.
like Florida did.
Mm-hmm. Um, this story came and went very quickly. I couldn't find another place to make this in, and there wasn't enough information here to make this a main topic. Although I think under any other news week other than this one, this would have been a main topic here. The Politico has confirmed that the Hunter Biden laptop emails are true after the media declared the story Russian disinformation amid the election rather. So Fox News reports on this nearly a year after the Hunter Biden story sparked a political firestorm. Politico confirmed some of the material first reported by the New York Post in the final weeks of the presidential election. So hey, it's true now.
Yep, must be true. Like, oh man, yeah, we know. Like we know it's true. No.
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt them anymore. So now they can come out and
Right.
say, hey, we did this. We stuffed this out in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the
Uh,
same thing when they admitted to fortifying the election. They did the same thing. They do this whole like, oh, this is bullshit, conspiracy theory nonsense, and then as soon as it doesn't affect them anymore, they're like, oh yeah, we did that. Yeah, totally. And then they laugh at you for it. Yeah,
yeah, they do. So, yeah, Politico's out there. They said it's true. So, hey, it must be true.
must be.
But NPR had to weigh in on this one here. NPR's public editor says, why haven't you seen any stories from NPR about the New York Post Hunter Biden story? Read more in this week's newsletter, which goes to an image that says, we don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories. And we don't want to waste the listener's time and the reader's time on stories that are just pure distractions.
But they're NPR. They waste
National
everyone's
Progressive
time.
Radio.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. National Propaganda Radio. They that's all they do is waste people's time by existing.
I get, if Spartan is in the chat, what did you had one this morning too? Never something reality, I think it was in the contemporary chat this morning when we talked about NPR, and I cannot remember what it was, but it was hilarious. I laughed my ass off when I read it after the show.
Yeah, I don't know what it could be.
Katie Hill is back, by the way. Katie Hill launches effort to protect Democratic majority in the House. From Michael Schnell over at The Hill, Katie Hill launched a new effort on Tuesday to protect the Democratic majority in the House, backing 16 Democratic women running for re-election in next year's midterms. Hill, in a video announcing the initiative, said that because of redistricting and Republican gerrymandering, Democrats are at serious risk of losing the House in the midterms. Let's listen to what that sounded like.
I know we all have so much on our plates, but the next fight is already here. Redistricting is happening across the country, and Republicans are gerrymandering every seat that they can. That means that we are at serious risk of losing the House in the midterms and losing everything that we've worked so hard for over the last few years. When I was elected in 2018, we took the majority by electing an incredible class of women, but now many of their seats are in jeopardy. Her Time recently announced that we are supporting 16 Democratic women who are in some of the toughest races in the country. Terrifyingly, even if just one of those 16 loses, we will lose control of the House. I plan to spend the next year fighting to protect our Democratic majority and ensure that these amazing women leaders are able to continue to serve us in Congress.
I don't know. If I was the head of the DNC, I would probably look at this woman and say, yeah. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Your services are not needed here. Go get Eiffel Towered by a couple dudes.
Eiffel Tower. That's a good one.
Yeah, she was the one that was in the throuple, so.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember who she is now. Oh my god, you're right. Yeah. It took me oh my god, that took me way too long. It's been so long since I cared. Oh my god. That's funny. That's right. Oh man, but this whole the Republicans are gerrymandering. It's like, okay, and what happens when you're able to gerrymander? Oh look, Democrats gerrymander too. It's like not like it's like it's part of the game. It's not like that's something that, oh look at these Republicans, they're just cheating so that they can win. It's like, no, that's kind of the point of redrawing districts. Like, what do Democrats do it completely fairly? Like, what? I mean, I don't know. Like, what? Why is that purely a Republican thing? It's just so dumb. It's just so blatantly just. I don't even know what the word for it is. Just dishonest, I guess. It's not strong enough of a word though, but that's what I got. blatantly
All right.
dishonest.
Did you see this this bizarre video out of Clark County in Nevada with the lieutenant gubernatorial candidate?
Talking about the one, okay, yeah, I did see this.
The one that got his ass beat?
Yes, yep.
Let's watch this.
Don't hurt him! Don't hurt him! Don't hurt him! Hey, that's your lieutenant governor! What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's your lieutenant governor!
So,
Based.
yeah, he just got fucking body slammed through this. Apparently, according to Newsweek, he was trying to be in a meeting talking about COVID response. They asked him to leave. I don't know if he was supposed to be in that meeting or not, or if he was allowed to be in that meeting or not. It kind of bothers me that this whole thing gave me a lot more questions than just why are they body slamming a black dude through a metal detector?
No. See, that's the wrong way to look at it. All right, they're body slamming a politician through a metal detector. That is based, okay?
Yeah.
That is fucking awesome. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that.
Well, the original poster that I found the video for identified him as lieutenant governor. That is incorrect. He is a lieutenant gubernatorial candidate.
Candidate.
Which makes me wonder. But I think after this, I think he's got enough political ammo at this point that I think he's going to be the lieutenant governor at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's it's a black man that just got tackled by police on cam in a viral video for sure. He's a shoo-in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
So that's what we see coming out of that.
Love it.
This fucking stupid one. This stupid thing. This woman is a meme at this point. Well, she's a plant, obviously. Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out.
Oh, yeah.
With the picture. Let's see who this really is as she's pulling the mask off the Green New Deal. And she finds the hammer and sickle.
Although I do appreciate the use of memes in Congress or, that's in the House, whatever it is. Well, that's fucking awesome. I like that. I like that memes are like real life and are actually like affect politics.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird to me. It's
such a clown world. It's like memes are real life, man. Meme magic is real. If I can throw back to 2015 for a minute. Yeah.
Let's keep going off of that. This one came from the Daily Wire, but it hasn't really been reported anywhere else. So I've said take it with a grain of salt, but let's at least think about it. Iran fails to honor key nuclear agreement, only days away from enough fuel for a nuclear weapon. So apparently there is a broken camera that I believe it's the International Atomic Energy Agency just a couple weeks ago discovered. They can't get the media out of the broken camera. They can't replace the broken camera. And they keep telling us now that Iran is only a few weeks away from having enough fissile material to use for a nuclear weapon.
Cool.
Although Israel's been telling us that for 10 years. Well, it's just a couple months away. It's just a couple months away.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you're like, why would we have a vested interest in whether or not Iran has nuclear missiles? And just like, oh, yeah. There's that one country over there that nobody likes. Interesting. Yeah.
Well, realistically, there is enough vested interest, I think, for the U.S. on whether or not Iran has nuclear missiles based on the fact that they can do a shady, slit the throat and throw the couple dollar bills in somebody's pocket and have an ICBM carrier for it. Whether or not they can figure out how to launch it, time will tell. But they don't like us very much either. Keep in mind.
But the chances of them being able to get over to us, they can't just fire it from there and hit the United States. You know what I mean? Like, it'd have to be transported.
You don't understand the concept of an ICBM, do you?
Well, intercontinental ballistic missiles. I understand it's intercontinental, but there's like 2 continents it has to go through. I don't think, especially with their funding, I don't think they're going to have the range.
Yeah.
And it's not like you couldn't detect that as soon as it launches, and then it's like, oh, look, let's just wait 20 minutes before we hit it because it's got to get, It's like, nah, it's going to be in the air for so long, hours probably, and hours. I mean, yeah, it's not a huge deal.
It's still something that I would watch, pay attention to.
Yeah. I don't know.
I wouldn't say panic about it, but I would definitely watch it.
Sure. I just have a really hard time trusting intelligence agencies. Like,
Or
they just
people who wear small hats who are January to April older than me.
So that was
I wonder
Ed
who that could be.
Not John. John did not say that.
Whose wife is a doctor.
Yes, that one. Yeah, that one in particular.
Did you see this bizarre story out of, it was a tweet. It never made the national news, out of Chicagoland area.
Which one?
I had to archive the tweet because the fucking coward locked his account down.
Oh, of
But
course.
Leaf Bug with a hammer and sickle on his profile says, "What the actual fuck? My friend's parents just received this letter at the restaurant. Please share this if you live in Illinois because this is actual domestic terrorism." The letter reads, and I quote, well, no, I don't quote because there are things that I'm not going to say on YouTube. There are slurs in this one I'm not going to say on YouTube.
Yeah.
The address that was on the header was an actual courthouse in Skokie, Illinois, actually, by the way. I looked into that. But it says, court order, Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. Take notice. Our community and the United States is no place for black gentlemen, Hispanic gentlemen.
I believe the word is basketball Americans. I believe it's the politically correct term.
Yeah, but that's not the word that's on the page.
Yeah.
Asian gentlemen.
Gentlemen.
Gays, queers, etc. Those two I can actually say on YouTube, but the other three I couldn't. We definitely don't need your Kung Flu like other viruses that come from outside the US, and we definitely don't need your shitty restaurants in our community. If you don't close immediately, you and your group will face gang actions indefinitely, and you know just what all a gang can do. You can't run to the police or the courts because we are the law. So long, asshole. Judge Jeffrey L. Warnick, the White Judges Club. P.S. The best part about being a judge is that you can get away with anything.
So this is obviously fake, and I did see this. I have seen this. Yeah. Oh my god, this is so obviously fake. This has how can I say this delicately? Third world language, I guess, in it. Right. So like you'll face gang violence or gang action indefinitely, right? As in like we're gonna come fuck your shit up. What was the other one? The white, what is it, the White Judges Club or something like that?
Yep, yeah, the White Judge Club.
Yeah. You'll know what all a gang can do. What was the other one? There was one more that I was just thinking of. It was towards the bottom. Oh no, it was actually the last thing, the PS, right?
The best part about being a judge is you can get away with anything.
Right. And you can't go to the police because we are that's such a third world thing. That they would be that corrupt that they're like, no, we're actually just going to shut you down and we're not going to help you or anything like that, because like we're the law, right? That is such a third world like Chinese thing, or like I don't know, some kind of Southeast Asian thing, perhaps. Like it's just one of those. It's so that's like what their culture does. Like they're like, oh yeah. Like they have turfs, like right? Their gangs have turfs, and they kind of that they are the law in that area.
Yeah, well. And the fact that there's no signature, there's no seal to this.
Yeah.
This guy turned around and he doubled down and he tried to say, oh, well, this obviously isn't a real letter because there's no signature on it, but somebody else sent it to us. And I just looked at something, bitch, you sent this to yourself.
Yeah. You sent this out to yourself and to the other restaurants. Or maybe they were all collaborating. I don't know. But yeah, it's clearly fake. I mean,
and the one thing that really pointed this out to made this fake in my eyes is the second tweet that went with this is the kind of white nationalism that Trump enabled and encouraged their restaurant was already struggling due to COVID. Now they have to deal with this. In the name of the restaurant is Twin Dragon in Niles, Illinois. Please support if you can.
Yes, it is. Yeah, of course it's Twin Dragon. But
please come here. Spend a bunch of money here.
Yeah.
Please send donations.
Right, so they're taking advantage of like white liberals and their like guilty conscience, which is of course an age-old tactic, right?
We got just a couple more to get to, and then we get into the main stuff here. Lauren Boebert improperly used campaign funds for rent and utilities. This comes to us from NBC. Lauren Boebert of Colorado improperly spent thousands of dollars in campaign funds on rent utilities, her campaign acknowledged this week in a filing with the FEC, but it said the money had been paid back. The FEC had asked Boebert's campaign treasurer in a letter last month for more information about a $6,000 in payments that had been listed in her quarterly filing as personal expense of Lauren Boebert billed to the campaign account in error. The filing said the money had already been paid back. So it looks like she went in and paid the rent on her restaurant and stuff with her campaign funds. That's a no-no.
Yeah.
And so all of Twitter was calling for her resignation because of this. They said that she had to be fired. She had to be removed from Congress from over this. And I thought to myself, if they removed everybody from Congress who was guilty of this, we wouldn't have a Congress.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do it.
I was going to say, and then I thought about it this morning, like, wait, that sounds like a really good idea, actually.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I agree with Twitter for once. Holy shit. Yeah.
But, I mean, realistically, this is probably a more common thing that you can think about, especially for a first-term representative. You don't know. You've got money coming in. You're still in the private sector for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, for
These
sure.
people want to give you a bunch of money, so why not use it to come back up?
Yeah, they're usually not rich yet at their first term. The
lobbyists haven't bought them yet
and stuff. Right, exactly. So they're still struggling on their way up. It's like when you start a new job and you get that kind of like, oh, I didn't get a paycheck for a couple of weeks. You're like, oh, I gotta do something. You gotta wait, another week or 2 weeks before you get paid again. It's just, you gotta do something, right? You still gotta pay those bills. They don't care. So I get it. I get it. And if they were paid back, I mean, I also get that, right? It's like, hey, I got this sum of money that I can tap into that'll solve all my problems. Technically illegal, but when I get my paycheck, I just put it back. I totally get the line of logic there.
And I do think that it's more of ignorance off of this. I mean, which ignorance of the law is no excuse, regardless. Right. But I think it's more that they don't know. And I think a lot throughout the years. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then the last one we're going to do here is they finally listened to me. Congress has listened to me. And they told me they're going to do what I told them to do forever off of this. With Roe under threat, House plans to vote on bill to counter abortion curbs. If you're so worried about the Supreme Court doing it, make it into a law. You're the lawmakers. Now, obviously, I don't agree with this because I think it's barbaric to go and cut apart little kids in the womb.
Yeah.
But, if you're going to do this, you're the lawmaker. Make the law. Go home and deal with your constituency after that. Which I don't think a lot of them are going to be able to get voted in after they go and tell their constituency that they voted for this. Especially a lot of the moderates.
I don't know. I mean, most people don't vote for their representatives or their senators. Most people vote for president.
Yeah,
that's true. Obviously, every other Senate election or every other House election, I forget what all their terms are or whatever, but every once in a while, they fall on the same as the election. So the presidential election. So during that time they might, but they're usually just like, oh, I recognize that name. Let me check that off. More than they are like actually considering the issues. So that's how these people stay in power for so long. Is that people are just like, oh yeah, I know that name. Let me check that off. It happens all the time.
That person has the right letter next to their name. I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Which is, of course, why voting is a fucking sham. Get out of here with that voting shit.
I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote so hard.
Dude, you got to just vote harder next time, man. You just didn't vote hard enough. You need at least 12 ballots every time.
Let's check in with live chat here. So see what these guys are doing over here. And then we got to get in and talk about this debt ceiling stuff here. Breakdown with Birkenhoff is here. It was a fun live stream, kind of just lurked along after a Libertarian Party Texas meeting. I must have missed the first message off of that because he must have done something before this. Tony's house is here. Hey guys, you welcome guys. Saint is here. Hello there, bitches.
What's up, Saint?
Ron Helton, good afternoon. Jay, the flames are licking higher. Edgar and John, the John B. Killer, and fellow Ed heads.
Oh, that's an old one. That's an old meme from Ron, the John B. Killer. Yeah. It's an old one.
Let's see. What's with everyone in the quote only true time zone? That was from when I was on the generational gap, because that was the first thing I said. Get a real time zone.
Yeah.
And that just
we
started
saying it. Yeah. So one true time zone, Eastern time zone. We're first, bitch.
Nail Bender is here. Hopefully, won't have to time someone out this show. Oh, there'll be somebody. It's always Twitch.
The chat behaves. Except for Twitch, yeah.
Let's see. Saint says he's the king of bitches. Ron Helton says condolences to the girl's family.
Wait, for Saint? Saint being king of bitches, so condolences to the girl's family?
No, Ron Helton was talking about...
I was just making a joke, yeah.
For the Glory of Christ is here. That's a new name in here. Second time in stream. Hey, how we doing? Thank you for coming and joining us.
I wonder if he's a Christian or not. I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't either.
Welcome, though. Welcome.
Ron Helton says, if the public has so much interest and indignation with the wars that the government lies to us to murder innocents abroad, then we could work our way to a better world. Highleaf is here with the half-track meme.
Oh, we made so much fun of Seawall in our show about that. We were all like, "Oh yeah, you guys park them next to each other and like cover them with the same color tarp." It was good. Yeah, good times.
Nail Bender says nothing's independent of the CCCP. You have to register to do a business in communist countries and can be shut down anytime.
Yeah, that happens here too. You can do that here as well. You have to register with the government to have a business, and it can be shut down at any time. Yeah, it's the same thing. There's like no difference. I mean, I'm sure the difference obviously in how to qualify for a business or like what it takes to get it shut down, but it's the same thing.
Ron Helton says the states get to pick their own officers for the Guard. I was one. Ooh, Ron Helton was government issue.
Ooh. So is Saint. I happen to know.
But that is, well, Saint's not anti-government though either.
Yeah, I guess not as much. But no, see, Ron Helton is anti-government because he knows firsthand what it's like. See?
But that is about all the state control there is. The governor has to get permission to use them from the feds. They are, for all purposes, federal troops. The equipment and their pay is paid at the federal level. That I knew, that it was paid off the federal level because they're paid out of the DOD.
Yeah.
Ron says there must be a lot of loons in Clark County. That is the same county where the Las Vegas shooter, Stephen Pollock, lived.
Yeah, well, let's calm down about the Las Vegas shooter thing, okay? When we start going to a rabbit hole, all right? Because there's a lot of things about that, and I don't want to get Ed kicked off for YouTube either. So let's calm down about that.
Saint says, P.S. quote is from Law Abiding Citizen, and Mr. Halo 304 Forever. Mr. Halo 3.0 Forever? Is that what it's supposed to be?
Wait. 304, isn't that? No, that's. Wasn't it like one of the the makers of Halo, the game Halo? No, it's 343. So yeah, it must be 34 ever. It must be 34 ever because 343 is the company that makes it. So yeah.
I was a PS2 guy. I've only played Halo once.
Oh my god! Of course you're a PS. Oh my god! No wonder you're so uncultured.
He says, kicked out of Congress, no, reprimanded, yes. And I think that's what it wound up being. She got reprimanded.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the debt ceiling.
Yay.
So as of right now, there are three things that are going through the major finances of the country right now. One is the $3.5 trillion human infrastructure plan that could take down the $1.5 trillion. I don't know why I keep using these words with a T, by the way.
I heard it was going to cost $0, so...
Yeah, we'll talk about that, too. That's I've got that up here.
Yeah.
So we've got the human infrastructure bill. We have got the regular infrastructure bill. Plus we have stopgap funding because the government's going to shut down in like 3 days. Except they're going to open it back up, which is fucking lame.
Of course, yeah.
And then now we're also facing down a crisis of epic proportions because the debt ceiling needs to be raised in order for Congress to be able to make its payments on time. What's the word that they like to use? It's obligations. We need the debt ceiling raised so we can make our obligations.
Right.
Which is, I mean, it's been a fight. I remember this. This wasn't that long ago. We did this once before, and it was a fight like this under Obama,
Yep.
where they sat down and they panicked up until the 11th hour and said that, oh, you got to give me more debt that I can spend, so we can make our payments. Otherwise, we might default on our credit card, and our credit rating will be ruined. This might be the first time in history we default, and it's all about me.
I wish that worked for like us in real life, right? He's like, I have too much debt. Oh, let me just raise the debt ceiling of myself so I can continue to borrow money forever in perpetuity. That sounds like fun, right? Because then like debt doesn't matter, right? It's just like now, right? With the United States debt doesn't matter. Like no one cares about it. So like it's really only like libertarians who screech about it, and everyone's like, yeah, whatever, man. Fucking libertarians. It's like, because it doesn't matter. Like, we're just going to raise the debt ceiling. You know what's going to happen. We're going to raise the debt ceiling, and then we're going to just continue on the same way that we have been. It's just so bad.
Well, Democrats are trying to do this in a few different sneaky ways here, and one of them is throwing this as a rider onto the bill that will go back and fund the government for the stopgap, which I don't know why they keep calling it a temporary stopgap. We haven't had a budget since fucking Bush. How sad is that?
Yeah.
Just throw another omnibus, another one. But I mean, that's one of the things that you pointed out too, is the fact that, I mean, it doesn't work like that. We don't get to just go to the bank and say, just raise the amount of money I can borrow and I'll deal with it to pay my bills.
Yeah. It's like, I wish I could do that. That'd be awesome. Because your credit score doesn't matter. Like, I got money. I got cash in my hand. I just keep borrowing it. Who cares? Like, how easy that is to fall into, even now. Like, even without being able to do that, it's super easy to fall into.
Well, and I mean, I know boomers who are like that too, but I mean, they actually do that in their personal lives. Oh, I need money for this. I'll just go borrow more money.
Yeah. Next thing you know, like Biden's taking a lien against America, like a second mortgage on it or something. Like,
hey, I got this big white house here. I'm sure there's some equity in that.
yeah, exactly.
It's historic, man. Come on.
That's right. Oh my god, this is so.
I remember when it was built.
Yeah, he's like, who's there? He was old back then. That's oh my
god. So I mean, this, and I've made this analogy before. It's like, once in a while, like maybe once every 5 years, if you come up tight somewhere and you got to throw like the cable bill on the credit card or the electric bill on the credit card, that's not a huge deal.
Yeah, shit happens. I get it.
Totally. But if you're doing it every month, you got problems.
Or if you're using one credit card to pay off another one, that sort of deal, yeah.
I grew up in the poor part of Kenosha. I believe I've seen that happen. I believe they call that 7-card screwed.
Yeah.
But I mean, the government can get away with doing this, and I don't know why. Some of the strategies they're doing is, like I said, they're trying to hide this into the stopgap bill. They're also trying to hide it in the infrastructure bill as well.
Yeah.
Or not the infrastructure bill, but the human infrastructure bill. Regardless, they're trying to find out. And I mean, McConnell has been very staunch about this. He's been trying to keep this going on. He's been trying to get this, because Democrats obviously can go back and they can actually make this happen. They still have another budget reconciliation they can use. This would fall under the category of budget reconciliation. Definitely would. So they can go ahead and just, okay, we're about to default on our credit card. We can make the bill, we can pass it, we can stop it. We don't need any Republican support. We can jam it through the House, we can jam it through the Senate. No support. Kamala can break the tie. Simple majority. And I think that's the strategy. I think that's what McConnell's trying to do. Because what does that take away from them if they do that? They can't do the big one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they still can, but I guess they
won't have the votes.
They have less justification for it, I guess. But still, I don't know. Do they need the votes? I mean, technically, obviously, they need the votes, but what I mean is like, don't they just like do shit anyway?
Well, see,
Regardless
the
of
Senate,
votes?
the way the Senate rules go is with the filibuster in place, they can do
Oh, that's
one
right. They gotta
budget
get rid of that.
reconciliation. Yeah, they can do one
Yeah.
budget reconciliation a term, where they can go out and they can say, okay, well, we want to do this on a simple majority, so they can do that once per term. And they've already used, because they got a freebie basically off of the 2020, but I don't think they used it. So they used one for COVID relief. And then they can still use their one from 2022 to do, that's what they're going to use to do their massive infrastructure package, the $3.5 trillion. Unless they blow their wad on the stopgap bill and the raising of the debt ceiling, because then they can't use it for the $3.5 trillion bill.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense, but I don't know. Do the 3.5 trillion? Like at this point, just just fucking do it, man. Just do it. It's not going to mean anything anyway.
I know they're trying to find creative ways around doing this. One of them, and I found this over on Insider this week, was that, and they talked about this at the beginning of the commie coup and all the relief bills that came for this, and they wouldn't do it then. I don't know why the hell they thought that anybody would do this now. But Insider reports that the Biden admin could sidestep McConnell's refusal to pay off America's bills by minting a $1 trillion platinum coin.
Oh my god.
Which is like the epitome of money printer go burr.
Well, speaking of, my dad actually has and has shown me. I can show you a picture afterwards, after the stream. He's got a $1 trillion Zimbabwe bill from like the 1980s. When he stopped there when he was in the Navy. Yeah, it's actually, it has all those fucking zeros you would expect. It actually looks really cool, but it's a $1 trillion note. So this is not out of the realm.
Coffee with it, or
no. You can't even get on the bus with that. You couldn't even get on the bus with that. Yeah, no. It was really bad. Yeah.
But that's one of the, and I remember Rashida Tlaib talked about this too when we started doing COVID relief, was, okay, we can run out and we can impeach the motherfucker and get $2 trillion coins printed and use that to put money on debit cards and renew them every month for everybody until this whole thing passes. So I mean, it's not the first time they've talked about this, but what does that do to inflationary spending? What does that do when Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell have to go look at this, the head of the Federal Reserve and I can't think of what her title is, the Treasury Secretary, when they have to look at this and say, why does it cost $25 for a gallon of milk?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, just so the money's worthless. Stop using money. Yeah. Start get gold, silver. Just no. Money is going to be worthless in the next 10 years.
Would that be guaranteed. Birch gold?
I do not endorse any one particular type of gold because I'm not a financial advisor. However, let's just say that there are a few holes in the backyard that have been recently filled. And so don't go looking too deeply into that, okay?
Well, it looks like the White House has actually denied the ability to do this. They said there's no fucking way. We can't do this.
Can't do $1 trillion platinum coin? That would look cool, though. I want to see a picture.
It will look cool. I don't know if they've got the striker for it at this point. But yeah, that's one way they're trying to get around this, and the White House says no because they're already floundering in inflationary costs right now. But the vote is supposed to be tonight on whether or not they can do the debt ceiling raise in the House. So
they'll do it. Spoiler alert, they'll do it.
Oh, the House, yeah, we know they're going to do it, but we'll see if the Senate can do it or they can hold it off until, because basically they run out of money and they have to default on their debts on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Like this coming Friday.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. They'll do it. I mean, that's one thing that both Republicans and Democrats can agree on.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers are facing a government shutdown.
God, I hate autoplay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so one thing they can agree on is let's spend more money. Let's raise the debt. Let's,
But speaking of which, also on Friday, the government runs out of money, which means they have to do a temporary shutdown as well.
Good.
Yeah, that's the other problem is they're going to open it back up.
Yeah. It's like when you restart your computer. It's just turning it off, turning it back on again. Still fucked up though. Like you still have the same viruses you had. Like not really doing you any good.
Oh, you shouldn't have gone to that porn site.
Well, what are you gonna do? Man has needs, Ed. Man has needs.
We do need to talk a little bit about some of the drama that surrounded the stopgap bill. So the House has passed at this point a stopgap bill and also sent that over to the Senate. It also looks like this is going to be denied, partially because it carries a debt ceiling increase. And McConnell says, "Nope, we're not going to vote on that. Get that out of my Senate here. We're not even going to bring that out to the floor, and we'll block it if it gets down here." Which they'll filibuster it and they'll run that out too. So that's dead on arrival as well because it's got the debt ceiling increase. But there was another piece of drama that went with this that was worth mentioning this week, and that's because they also tried to hide $1 billion for Iron Dome funding in this bill. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah. That's pretty. If I can use the word "based" for that, that certainly is that. But I will not comment further.
House progressives blocked the original bill in its original language until they took that particular language out of it. So they said they wouldn't vote on it. The House would lose all the votes for it if they did put this forward with that language into there. And no Republicans supported the stopgap bill, of course. And they turned around and they took that out of there, and then they made a separate bill funding $1 billion for the Iron Dome system that passed, I believe it was 475 to 6 in the House.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of dangerous territory. I don't know if I want to comment too much.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Let's hear what you have to say.
I mean, good. I don't know. I'm not much for foreign aid and stuff, so let's leave it at that. Yeah, especially when it goes to certain countries that we may or may not should have a relationship with, perhaps. Not naming any particular country or anything like that, but you know the one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we knew this was gonna happen. Yeah. It's Israel. You knew it was going to happen. As soon as they came out and said that they were going to do funding for Israel, you knew that everybody was going to be on board with this. But some interesting drama came out of this, and that's why I wanted to talk about this more than the actual funding, because I mean we all knew that was going to happen. That's not news. That's the name of the book. But I've got this tweet here from Moshe Schwartz, who has a blue check, and I have no fucking idea why. Apparently a reporter for YWN, which I don't know what that is.
Are there pronouns in the bio, perchance?
No. Reporter for YWN, covering New York, New Jersey, and global news. Weather, DM with
YWN?
Tips. I don't know. This person has 1,264 followers and has a blue check.
1,200 followers?
Yeah. 1,300 followers.
That's why.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's a I will bet that this man probably walks around with a small hat upon his head. And let's just say that when I looked it up, it was pretty yeah.
Is his wife
He's got a blue
perhaps
check
a doctor?
His wife may be a doctor. It's very possible. Yeah.
But he reported this one out here, a little bit of drama that came along with this. AOC appears to be crying on the House floor after she changed her vote from no to present during voting on funding to replenish Israel's Iron Dome defense systems. Let's see what that looked like.
Designated by Mr. Lawson of Florida, pursuant to House Resolution and for the House.
Okay, and I mean,
Whoa.
the guy's
Somebody's
speaking
drunk.
here, but you can't see it in here, but you can see it down, or you can't hear anything off it, but you can see it down in the corner that there she is. She's out there, tears in her eyes, with her little glasses on, and she's about to get a hug from. I can't tell who that is in the corner of the screen.
Ms. Lawson will vote nay.
And there come the glasses.
483 amendment.
Because she's got to come back and wipe her eyes. So, yeah, so in tears over the fact that she had to go and vote present instead of voting no for the Israel funding.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, it's nice to see politicians cry. I don't care where they're from. I don't care what they're doing. It's nice when politicians cry. You know, it's the world's a better place when politicians cry. For whatever reasons they might be crying, I don't know, whatever it is. But the world is generally a better place when politicians cry.
Well, and I looked into this a little bit too, and I got into it with a couple of people on Twitter over this, and somebody asked, "Why is she crying over this? Why is this going on like this? Why does she have to change her? And it looks like she talked to somebody in there. Why did she have to change her vote to no?" I said, "Well, see, here's the thing. She can't go out in front of Soccer Mom America and do something that's perceived as of anti-Semitic."
Right.
And somebody came back and says, "Voting against Israel funding isn't anti-Semitic." I said, I understand that.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's not how Soccer Mom America is going to see it.
Well, that's not okay. So that's not how the media is going to see it. So therefore, that's not how Soccer Mom America is going to see it.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with the redistricting that's happening in New York and the fact that they're losing a seat, so they have to expand some of the districts. She has to, now at this point, her handlers have to concern themselves with how this appears to Soccer Mom America and, how can we put this, Brooklyn Deli owner America?
Yes, that's a good one. I like that one. Brooklyn Deli. That's a really, I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna steal that. That's really good.
Well, I used that one specifically because I'm pretty sure that that's part of the reason she had to do that, because some of her
in New York.
Some of her district is probably going to go over into a different district of Brooklyn.
The district might be well known for their delicious delis, of course, right?
Which I don't know if they would be that delicious, because I don't think they would have capicola because it's pork.
Well, they might have it. They might serve it. What's funny is it's a little anecdote real quick. When I was working for a gas station a number of years ago, like this is a long time ago, and
I believe you can get that in a number of different places.
Yes, yeah, hot stuff. But yeah, so I was working at a gas station a number of years ago, and the owner of the gas station, as is stereotypical, was a Hindu, and he's a great guy. Like, I love that dude. He's awesome. But it was funny because he would sell like those little like prepackaged like burgers and stuff. Like, and so it's like when people would come up, like you could tell he was kind of like, like this sucks. I don't want to have to sell this like little prepackaged burger to somebody. He would like bring it up once in a while. You'd be like, you should avoid that. You should stop. You should not eat that. But like he would still sell it to him, of course. So I'm wondering if that's the same situation with like those kind of delis where they still sell pork because they know that their customers want it. It's like, you got to juggle. You trying to make more money, or you trying to stick by your ethics? Like, you know what I mean? Like, which one outweighs the other? And maybe some of those delis don't. I don't know, but I bet you a lot of them do. I'll bet you a lot of them will sell it, kind of against their better judgment.
Yeah, I found out one of my coworkers is Muslim because of that same kind of argument. We were talking, the little, they call them tornadoes. It's like almost like a little taquito, but sometimes they'll have like chicken in there sometimes, or scrambled eggs and shit in there. One of the grocery stores that's big in Wisconsin, Quick Trip, has them all the time, and they have them on sale all the time too. One of my favorite things out of Quick Trip. So while I was off low carb for a little while, I was, they were on sale. They were $1 a pop, so I grabbed some of them. And one of them was sausage, egg, and cheese, and I brought them in, and my coworker's like, "Oh, it smells delicious." And I'm like, "Well, they're on sale at Quick Trip for $1 a pop." And I said, "This one is sausage, egg, and cheese." "Oh, man, I can't have that. It's got pork in it." I'm like, "Oh, why?" "Oh, I'm Muslim." "Oh." White as snow. You wouldn't have been able to tell by looking at the dude.
Well, I mean, just because he's Muslim doesn't mean he's Arab. Yeah, I mean, that is the thing. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the thing. It is what it is.
Let's talk just a bit about this $3.5 trillion bill as well, because that's the other one that they're trying to ram through at this point. So yes, we're still looking at $3.5 trillion for spending, and as you pointed out earlier, this bill has supposedly cost $0. Reading from Glenn Beck's wonderful publication, Democrats, including President Biden, are now trying to sell $3.5 trillion spending packages by claiming the massive bill cost $0. Over the weekend, Biden shared the message from his Twitter account, claiming the bill has no cost despite its massive $3.5 trillion price tag. Biden quotes, "My Build Back Better agenda costs $0. Instead of wasting money on tax breaks, loopholes, and tax evasion for big corporations and the wealthy, we can make a once-in-a-generation investment in working America and add $0 to the national debt."
Yeah, so I'm guessing that's how he's trying, or not he. I mean, he's not thinking of this stuff, right? Don't get me wrong, but like that must be their justification for saying $0. Instead, like it's an investment that you're going to not only make money on, but hopefully, like obviously you're going to make enough money to break even on that expenditure. Yeah, expenditure, and then hopefully make a little bit of profit even off of that, just from the raising the taxes and stuff. Like that's why it's not going to cost money. It's because they're going to make that money back, like an investment. So I think that's what they're going for, but it doesn't sound that way. It doesn't come off that way when you said it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, honestly, I think this one's dead in the water. It looks like the New York Post has reported that Manchin, Sinema, and the Squad might throw this one to the wayside, which the Squad is the one surprising me here, because the progressives in the House won't vote for this thing if they... they won't vote for this thing if they don't get the $1.5 trillion one. So this is an all or nothing for them, and they can't cut anything out for the Squad. They won't vote for it if they cut anything out of it. Which will also torpedo the $1.5 trillion bill. Because they won't vote for that if they don't get this one.
Dude, I'm thinking they should just do the $3.5 trillion one, right? Actually improve the infrastructure. That way, when the government collapses due to lack of, being able to pay and like the inflation and stuff, like once the country actually collapses, at least we'll have nice bridges and stuff to be able to, get from one place to another as we have like our raids into the urban areas and stuff. I think that's a good idea. Just kind of setting up for a nicer apocalypse, I think, would be a better idea.
Ron Hilton just asked, Senate GOP blocks bill to fund government. How is that possible? The commies have the majority. Some of them must have gotten cold feet. No, it's the filibuster. They're filibustering it.
Right, which is, of course, why this filibuster is so evil. It's like we can't do all the things we want to do because we have all the majorities. Like, no, this is not cool. We should be controlling the entirety of the government. This is why, like, I get it. The U.S. government was a nice test. Like, it was a nice idea. It was a nice experiment. Doesn't work. Get rid of it. Just put it out of our misery, please. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
All right. On that, before we get kicked off of YouTube, let's go and check in with some live chat here. See what these. Well, actually, I shouldn't say before we get kicked off YouTube. Let's go check in with live chat, because that might be worse.
Exactly.
I know what these guys can do.
I'm at least trying not to get you kicked off, even though I'm scared.
I don't care.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't care. I'd like to get a punitive action from YouTube at some point. Because all the rest of you fuckers have. I haven't.
We haven't gotten a strike. I've only ever gotten copyright claims.
You've also been taken off the air in the middle of it.
Oh, that's right.
In the middle of a stream.
You're right.
We're talking about Cheese Pie Fence Store.
That's right. Yeah. There was, whenever you get your pizza delivered with its cheese, you have to go through the gate. Yeah. In order to get to the door. Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So yeah, you guys have been,
that was funny.
taken down.
I forgot about that. That's funny. Yeah, you're right. But there's nothing came of it though. We just got taken down. That was it. I don't know. No strike or anything. But yes, please continue. Chat.
Let's see. Where did we leave off? Ben Wild says every time they raise the debt ceiling, some World Bank coupon trader sniffs a key of coke off 20 hookers. I'm thinking he's trying to say kilo, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the slang for a kilo is a key.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I didn't know that. I don't do enough coke, apparently.
I've never done coke before. I just like movies.
Also, looking over at the other chats here, looks like Tony's House followed on this stream, and For the Glory of Christ has donated 4 lemons. So thank you for that, For the Glory of Christ. Thank you for the donations off of that.
And of course, Ed is going to share 2 of those lemons with me because he's a good guy.
I can't. You're not on D-Live.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
But I will use those. I'm going to do a cash out from D-Live and actually put that towards the website. So
nice. Yeah. Can you put the link somewhere to that GoFundMe?
Yep.
I want to give to it. I haven't gotten a chance to.
I think it's in the Discord. Otherwise, yeah, afterwards I can, because I don't remember where I put it. But afterwards, yeah, I can definitely go and do that. I think I closed that window.
If it's in the Discord, I'll go look for it.
Yeah, it should be over in announcements in the Discord. Yeah, I closed that window at the top of the show.
Yeah, no problem. I'll go.
Ben Wild says, isn't the real issue here, though, why the fuck is Iron Maiden not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I mean, other than the obvious, then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a fraud perpetrated by ex-Rolling Stone writers that desperately want to remain relevant as the Guardians of Rock. Didn't we have this conversation the last time you were on this show? Because you were wearing an Iron Maiden shirt then, dude.
You know what? I was probably wearing this exact same one because I have like 5 shirts that I cycle through, and they're all like metal band, like 80s metal shirts. Like I've got this one. I've got like 2 Iron Maiden shirts. I don't know. So I've got 2 Iron Maiden shirts. I got like 2 Metallica shirts. I've got I guess I got more than 5. Exactly. Yeah, 2 Iron Maiden, 2 Metallica. I got the Bark at the Moon Ozzy one. And I've got a couple other ones. Rush, of course. I've got 2 Rush shirts. They're all like 70s, 80s metal shirts that I wear. It's pretty much all I ever wear.
I have a Hong Kong Phooey t-shirt.
That's awesome. That's actually really cool. You can't even see that. Like that doesn't stream anywhere anymore because he's like taking pills all the time. So like that got canceled. But that's fucking awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, I was pretty pumped about it when I got it. I saw somebody else wear it on Twitter. I'm like, I want one of those. And 20 minutes later, the Amazon order was complete.
That's awesome. I never even considered. I think like my sister was into Hong Kong food, but I never really was like too much. But it's really good.
Ron Held says, yep, smart move by the Republicans. Let the commies take the blame for destroying the dollar. Sure, they shut the government down, send people home. Then when they come back, they pay for them sitting on their butts. Never mind. That's what they mostly do at work. Some of this I can't read. Thank you, Saint. Vermont says the unjabbed are responsible for the current surge of cases, not the conclusion I would draw. Sounds like some jabbed are now super spreaders. They have almost 90% jab rate. Saint pointed out correctly, that's KT, not QT for the Quick Trip. Yeah, he's driven through Wisconsin before. I love Quick Trip, too. Quick Trip is the best. Quick Trip is like the best convenience store there is.
So is that like, I don't know if you have, I'm sure you do. I think it came from up north, Wawa.
No, we had this conversation when I was down by you. No, we don't have it up here.
That was a year ago. That was a year and a half ago. Do you have any idea how much I don't remember that? Like,
no, but I do know how much you smoke.
Yeah, that's true. And not cigarettes either. Other things.
Yeah, no, we had this conversation when I was down there, and it's a similar idea. We didn't go in the Wawa while I was down there, so I can't look and see if it is the same, but it's a similar idea from what I understand. Yeah, they've got a sort of a casual food service program in it, plus gas, regular convenience stuff and whatnot.
Right, yeah. So they'll make food for you there. They got like it's almost like a restaurant, like a fast food restaurant, and a gas station. Like it's really cool.
Well, that might be one that Wawa has above Quick Trip because they don't make this like they make it on site, but it's not to order. They'll do it to order, but it's mostly a la carte.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they'll do it to order. Like you sit there, they have a little screen that you make your order, and you do all your customizable stuff, and then you just place the order. You know, the asshole right there behind the counter, he starts making it, And then, like, you get your other stuff, you pump your gas, whatever, you go back in, sitting there waiting for you. It's fantastic.
All right.
Yeah, they were kind of nefarious though when they first moved into Florida. They had their prices so low that they were losing money on it, but they managed to like kill most of the other gas stations around, like because their prices were so low on everything that they killed their competition and then slowly started raising their prices. Like it was pretty nefarious.
Apparently, David Knight was blocked on Today on Trovo. No warning, no reason. They just killed him midstream. Ron Helton says, I watched people smoking crack on street corners in front of the police. Really weird. That was in the 80s. The Boston and Dallas Fed bosses are taking early retirement over their insider trader. Is the Fed chair Powell next? Hiley says, it is funny how California wants to ban travel from Ohio because of our transgender bill. I haven't looked into that yet. I've seen that it's there, but that's on the schedule for tomorrow morning. Ben Wild says, Hunter Biden smokes crack, or so I've heard. Saint tells you to quick the devil's leaf.
I don't know what he's talking about. I prefer jazz cabbage as the preferred name for it.
Ben Wild says, chicken motherfucking quesadillas all day long. Apparently somebody's hungry. And Saint says, that's delicious. More like Speedway.
I actually had a chicken quesadilla earlier for lunch today. It's pretty funny that he said that.
All right. We're going to talk about these Haitian migrants and everything that's going off of there. So there's some stuff to talk about with this. So the start of the topic here comes with this tweet from the Honorable and Venerable Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the Twitch. Get the right scene up here. Who tweets out, it doesn't matter, Poppy, if a Democrat or Republican is president. Our immigration system is designed for cruelty towards and dehumanization of immigrants. Immigration should not be a crime. And criminalization is relatively recent invention. This is a stain on our country. Of course, referring to the photos that Sawyer Hackett put out with the caption that Border Patrol is mounted up on horseback, rounding up Haitian refugees with whips. Now, the picture that is shown here shows, and I mean, unless the dude is left-handed, he is not whipping. But you see the mounted officer here holding on to the Haitian immigrant by his shirt with his right hand, his left hand onto the rein.
Yeah.
And you see a split rein flying loose from the head of the horse, captured in this action shot.
Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, that's a Western style bit and bridle. Am I right? Like
that
where
is correct.
Like you use the reins on either side to steer the horse, as opposed to pulling on one side or the other. Right? Mm-hmm. You actually use it to smack the horse a little bit, to tell it which way to go. I don't know what the advantages or disadvantages, between one or the other, but as far as I know, that's how you're actually using it.
But, I mean, you see the random ones out here. This makes me sick to my stomach. Send those two men here. I can provide home meals, clothes, and treat them humanly. The big problem with this, of course, was the fact that they assumed that these were whips that they were doing.
Of course, yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have journalists. That's what happens when you have journalists like looking into things, because they don't know what's going on at all.
Well, this whole thing just led the entire news cycle this week because they're using whips and they're doing this. And we had this quote from Kamala Harris. Let's listen to what she had to say about what's going to be done about the team who is overseeing the border. Let's listen to what she had to say.
What I saw depicted about those individuals on horseback treating human beings the way they were is horrible. And I fully support what is happening right now, which is a thorough investigation into exactly what is going on there. But human beings should never be treated that way, and I'm deeply troubled about it. The whole point is that we have to understand Haiti. I mean,
a full investigation into what's happening there, and everybody who's involved, who's like, I don't know, maybe the borders are.
Yeah. The person in charge of what's going on at the border. should perhaps be investigated. Like, it's almost like you're the one that's a cannibal. Yeah. I mean, obviously, this is Kamala's mess, right? Or Kamala, whatever, how fuck you pronounce her name. I mean, right? If she's the one in charge of it, that's obviously her mess. So that means that she, from their narrative, their logic, she's the one who deployed whips on the Haitians grass because she's the one in charge. Buck stops with her. So yeah, can't believe Kamala would start whipping migrants. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, and I mean, the White House is seeking more information about this at this point. They're begging this. Interesting side note of that, according to Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of, was he Secretary of State? I think he is. What is his title?
I don't know, but can you give me about 45 seconds real quick?
Oh, you gotta take a leak?
Yeah, I gotta take a leak. So
okay, I'll look at that up.
All right, I'll be right back.
Head of Homeland Security is what he is. All right, he's gone. We can talk to him. We can do the empty chair meme. I can capture the empty chair. I wish he had wireless headphones. I could hassle him while he's gone. Let's see what's going on with this here. What you guys are doing. Ben Wild says you never regret a quesadilla unless it's a vegan quesadilla, in which case it's a vegan wrap. I can't do quesadillas right now because, well, I suppose I could because I like the egg life wraps, and I could make that into a quesadilla. But yeah, right now I'm not doing carbs again because I got really fucking fat over the past 2 months, and I gotta burn some of that stuff off here. But yeah, no, you never do regret a quesadilla. That's right. I like that. I'm gonna make some quesadilla sauce, and I'm gonna make some quesadillas now. That sounds really fucking good. I'm gonna stew up some chicken too and make them for that. I'm going to make meatloaf tonight, though. But yeah, that's going to happen in the near future. Thanks, Ben Wild, for that. Ron Helt says, too bad AOC was not just a stain of regret by her father. Just, oof. I can't believe I just read that. I just read something I probably shouldn't have read on air.
I'm glad I wasn't here for it. No,
Mayorkas is the head of Homeland Security, by the way.
Gotcha.
And yes, he has desked all these guys. They're all on desk duty. All the people who were in these pictures.
Oh yeah, they're being investigated, right? They're being they're in trouble because Kamala gave them whips to use. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're even trying to say that the use of horseback police is cruel and unusual, in spite of the fact that they do it in New York all the time.
Well, no, because hang on, because like. That's retarded for one. How is that cruel and unusual? Like that's actually the most usual. In fact, like for most of American history, policing was done on horseback, so that is not unusual at all. Like, and yeah, of course, like in cities and stuff, yeah, they use them all the time. I saw them in like New Orleans and Charleston, where I'm from. There's police on horseback all the time because they're more maneuverable. They're able to, go. In and out through like sidewalks and stuff a lot easier. And then yeah, where they are in the Del Rio area, like there's all these like I don't know, it's desert, right? So there's like elevation, and just the terrain is a difficult terrain for a person or for like a vehicle like an ATV or something like that. A horse is a much better option. They're more sure-footed. They can, they're more kind of adaptable to that sort of environment. It totally makes sense to use horses there.
Yeah. So, and yeah, you're going in and out of the water. You're doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the horse is tall enough on top of that they can go into some of the shallow waters where ATVs will suck water into their intake. Yeah. I mean, using horses just seems like the ideal situation for this.
It's obvious. That's why we've domesticated them like earlier than most other animals. Like that's why they were one of the first to be domesticated after dogs, I think. But other than that, yeah, I mean it's horses.
But the Haiti thing didn't stop with just the horses thing here, because the Biden admin has also started deportations of these immigrants. It's mostly going to be the single men who are in this that are getting deported. I know that our friend Midget B has said that they're not getting deported; they're getting distributed to other cities in the country. But I cannot confirm or verify that.
He wasn't wrong. We know that now. Yeah, they've been
Well, the single men.
distributed. The what?
The single men. The families, yes, they
Oh,
are getting distributed around here. That's confirmed. They're going to, I know
the single
Tucson is
men.
one of them they're doing, but just the single military-aged men are being deported, supposedly at this point.
Yeah, we'll find out next week that they haven't been. Like, they've
Well,
been deported to New Mexico by some kind of like logistic error. It's funny.
the odd part about this is that Haitian migrants they were put on a bus to get brought back down to the airport so they could get deported to Haiti, and they hijacked the bus briefly.
Of course. Oh my god. The story is like a landmine, like a minefield. The fucking like, what can I say to not get kicked off on Twitter? Like, just slowly put my feet in this. Is this all right? All right. Seems like it's all right so far. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair, Ed. How dare you?
Well, they were caught. They were picked up pretty quickly off of this, but yeah, they got in. They got free, and they hijacked the bus going to the airport.
Yeah.
Not only that, but also reading from NBC 6 out of South Florida, Haitian deportees assaulted U.S. pilots and injured 3 ICE officers after the plane landed in Haiti on top of it. So they took the bus and they tried to take the fucking plane too.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea after 9/11. Like to try and, they're not going to like that. I mean, I get it. I don't want to go back to, I don't want to go to Haiti either. Like, I totally get it. Like, totally get it, especially at the arduous journey from, I don't know, where they went, like Venezuela, through Mexico and whatever it is, right? Colombia, I think, is the other one that borders Mexico, I think. But yeah, going up through Mexico and like, then you get to the border and you're like, oh shit, this is it. And then some dude with a horse catches you by the shirt. And then you got to go back. I get it. I mean,
do you remember at the beginning of the month when they detained Jason Miller in Brazil? It wasn't a big story, so I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't remember it. But yeah, at the beginning of September, they detained Jason Miller in Brazil and questioned him. No details on what the questions were about, but Jason Miller refused to answer. You don't remember that? I'm taking it.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, that happened like the way I described off of this. But the reason that I'm asking about that is because Rex Zane tweets out on September 24th, evidence is piling up that Jason Miller organized a caravan of Haitian migrants from Brazil to create the border crisis that the GOP is talking about. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it have been easier just to do something about the border issues while they could?
Interesting way to put that. Yeah, absolutely.
Jason Miller, by the way, was a big name Trump appointee.
I don't remember these names. Yeah, names are dumb. I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember this guy. What's funny?
Well, yeah, it's funny because the left is out here. Well, the thing at the border, Trump did that. He made that happen.
Yeah, it's like, do you not remember all the caravans that were making their way from South America through Mexico last year and the year before?
Yeah.
Like, tons of them. They were like, oh, look, there's another one coming up from, somewhere in South America, making their way through Mexico. It was like thousands of people. It's like, where did those come from? Those weren't Trump's doing, right? At the time, we were cheering for them back then. You remember that? I remember.
Yeah.
We cheered for them. Oh, yeah, make it to America. Hooray, you're awesome. And we have NGOs helping. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, Trump's doing it. Because now it's bad.
To make Biden look bad.
Yeah, because now it's a bad thing that we're doing this. People have like the memories of, not that I should talk, but people have the memories of goldfish. It's fucking ridiculous. It's really bad. At least I have an excuse. At least I have an excuse, right?
Oh, I'm sure they have plenty of excuse too.
Oh, yeah. Like, my TV told me this week it's bad that there are people coming to across the border. Like,
I want to shift gears on countries for just a second and talk just a bit about the Afghan migrants here because I've got one that came out of my home state here. Afghan refugees are now facing federal charges after trying to rape a child and strangle a woman in Wisconsin, according to the DOJ. This comes to us from the Daily Wire.
That is clearly an outlier. Those things do not normally happen. And you are racist and Islamophobic if you say otherwise. That is the official stance of John from the Porch Boys.
Well, I looked at this. I actually looked into this a little bit here because the headline is actually very misleading. Because it's Shapiro, and he wants you to believe that these people are out there and they're being terrorists and they've escaped the base and they're doing this to your, especially in that region.
Talmud doesn't teach the same thing. Is that too far?
They're busting out of this and they're doing this to the white farmer's daughter and the white farmer's wife and this shit and everything.
Yeah.
But when I did some digging into the story, it turns out that looks like one of the Afghan refugees, the one that strangled the woman, it was his wife. So that happened on the base. And it also looks like it was his girlfriend, not his wife. It also appears that the child rape case may also be domestic as well, because it appears that this, just kind of reading between the lines of this, that's probably his child bride. So that's also his wife.
Ah, I see. Okay, yeah. So once again, that is clearly their culture, and who are we to judge their culture and how brutal it may be, or may not be?
I mean, you could ask the DOJ because they're trying to judge that currently.
Yeah, well, I don't have much faith in that, so we'll see what happens. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I mean, I think they're going to be given exemptions. I mean, if you look at like what's going on in the UK with that exact same sort of thing, they get off pretty fucking light, if at all, if they even like bring it up.
One of the things that I looked at though with this, and looking at this, and we do have safe third country agreements in this country for immigration, and they were forced to be upheld by the Supreme Court, which means Biden has to follow them. Qatar is a safe third country, and that is very much friendly. It's very Islamic friendly. It's very friendly to the culture of people who are leaving Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Why are they coming here where this stuff, like having a child bride and trying to get some from her, is frowned upon, when that's perfectly acceptable in Qatar?
Is it found? It's frowned upon for now. Let's give it another 10, 20 years. We'll see how frowned upon it actually is. I don't know. I'm being like totally blackpilled at the moment. I'm like, oh my god, everything's falling apart.
That's okay, because you got called out too in the chat.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, Saint says official stance of the pussy from the Porch Boys.
That's funny. I see that now. Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah, shots fired. That's all right, Saint. I'll see you Saturday. Let's see. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, obviously it makes more sense that they would go to a different country, but like, our government couldn't jerk itself off with how like nice we're being to the Afghan refugees otherwise. Right, unless we bring them here, they can't just like have a circle jerk about how nice and great we are. So, there's that.
The one that didn't involve somebody who was also a refugee here came out of Fort Bliss this week as assault on female U.S. service member by male Afghan refugees at Fort Bliss is under FBI investigation. So not only did they do this in Wisconsin, but now I guess a couple guys went after. Was it 2 or 3? It says several, so it's probably more than 3. Several Afghan refugees. I think several starts at like 6.
No, I thought it was 3 to 7. Was like several. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal.
But yes, it looks like they all gathered up and took down one of the service members that was catering to them at Fort Bliss. Now, this is on the New Mexico side. It's not in Texas, but regardless, that's, yeah, the woman is in counseling right now. Looks like she is going to live, but of course she's going to have to live with the fact that numerous people took her down and, did the thing with her.
They rode a train, perhaps. Very pleasantly, nice ride, I think that's a safe way of putting it, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But, I mean, there's the thing that goes along with this, too. And, I mean, they're going to get a rude wake-up call when they realize that you don't stone the woman who made the accusation in this country
yeah. Well, I mean,
like you
that's a
do in
big
their
problem
country.
right, of course, yeah, and that's a big problem. Or like you have, okay, well, I'm just gonna say it then. Instead, you rape a member of the raper's family. They have that, like the revenge rape, where if you rape someone's family member, then they
Mhm.
get to rape one of your family members. Like that's one of their judicial processes. Which is pretty fucked up. That's so dumb.
That sounds like a good way to incest to me.
That's some very like 12-year-old logic, right? Like yeah, well, if you rape my girlfriend, I'm gonna rape your girlfriend. It's like, okay, well, both the women are the victims in this case. Like
Yeah.
you haven't really solved anything. It's so
Um,
stupid.
I'm going to move off of this for just a second. I know we're running up on the clock here, but there are a couple other things that I want to get to for today. One of these that I really want to talk about, even though we're probably going to have to cut it a little bit short on this, is what happened in Arizona over the weekend. Because this is
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of people backing into their own corners. They heard what came out of this and they said, okay, we got to back into this. And, everybody seemed to back into their own narratives off of this. So on
Yeah.
Saturday night, Cyber Ninjas, in front of a joint session of Arizona's Congress, gave the results from their audit. Now, the results from the audit from the hand recount shows that they took 94 votes away from Donald Trump and gave 297 to Joe Biden for Maricopa County, and that's in the
Right.
hand recount.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the mainstream media reported. That's what they reported breathlessly left and right throughout. They started reporting that on Friday, even
Yeah.
though the release didn't happen until Saturday. But they had this nice warmed up narrative already saying, see, Biden won, and he won by even a bigger margin than ever before. The meat of this story comes over the fact that there were almost 50,000 ballots in question from this that not a lot of people talked about. And 12 News did talk about it and bring it up. First, of course, from the top of the story, auditors found more votes for Biden. There's that. As of right now, they did not find fraudulent ballots. Officially, no. They described thousands of votes as questionable ballots. They're talking about 17,000 plus duplicate ballots with a question on the legitimacy of the signatures or lack thereof on certain ballots. 23,000 mail-in ballots that voted from prior addresses, and 5,000 potential voters who voted in multiple counties. 2817 is almost 50,000 in a race where Biden won the state by only 10,000 votes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was the most safest and securest of all elections that has ever been fortified. And I hope that all of our future elections are thusly fortified, so that only so that the right person will win, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but of course, I like how they did run with this. Like, oh look, they took away votes from Trump, and they gave them to Biden. I gave a lot more to Biden. So it's like, okay, so you're suggesting that there maybe was voter fraud, perhaps? Right? Are we admitting that, or was it the safest and most secure election ever to happen on the history of mankind? Like,
yeah, and I mean, NBC
what is
12 was
it?
trying to
Which
come out
one?
and say that these aren't these questionable ballots. These aren't fraudulent ballots. Right, they're questionable. Now they're sending them up to the DOJ,
Yeah.
which, I mean, in Arizona, I believe it's a Democrat that's running the DOJ, isn't going to do jack shit about it. But, now this is out here. Now we have to wonder about this.
Yeah, of course.
And the big thing with this, and this is, like what the left and Twitter was trying to tell us is, oh, they're going to do this audit and it's not going to change anything and Biden's still going to be president. That's correct. Because even if you decertify everything that's questionable, if you find enough to decertify Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, that was the other one. If you can go back and decertify all of those elections, there's still no constitutional mechanism to get the former guy back. Once Biden put his hand on the Bible and said, I swear to uphold the thing, man. Come on. What's my line? Once he said that, he was the president.
Yeah.
But
and I mean, at this point too, even if there was a mechanism to put Trump back in place, I wouldn't want it. Not due to like Trump himself, but due to Biden. I love how much he's fucking everything up. It's amazing. I'm loving watching everything. He's just absolutely just destroying everyone who voted for him. Like there's so many. I don't know if you follow the account, the Biden voters posting their L's.
I don't know if I have. I followed that one. I just followed Lips of TikTok.
It's one of those gimmick accounts where it's like people who voted for Biden being like, I didn't vote for this. Like, fuck you. I'm never voting Democrat again. Like, it's just constant. Like daily, there's like tons of them coming out. There's tons of people being like, I didn't vote for this. This isn't what I wanted. And it's like, yeah, no shit, dude. You just voted against somebody. Like that is like if you're going to agree with this democratic process, which I don't agree with. Fucking democracy's stupid. It's tyranny, whatever. But if you're gonna do that, you vote for somebody, not against somebody. Because when you vote against somebody, you're not voting. You're voting for somebody who isn't gonna hold the same values that you have, especially if you're a progressive. Biden is not a progressive. His cabinet are not progressives. They might appear so. They might talk about being progressive, but they're not fucking progressives. They're neolibs, right?
Yeah.
They're war hawks. They're they're power hungry. I mean, I know progressives are power hungry too, but in a completely different way.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, you're not voting. So, yeah, you voted against Trump. Good job. You got him out. Now you got to deal with someone who's far worse.
Hey,
right?
but no more mean tweets.
Actually, yeah, exactly. No more mean tweets, right? So instead of voting for someone who's going to, make things better, but might be crass once in a while, instead, you're going to vote for someone who's going to just shit the bed on the entire country. But at least there's no mean tweets. At least there's no mean tweets, Like, it's so fucking dumb, man.
I want to go back to the audit thing off of this though, just because, and that's where I was going with that, because you were saying that they voted and they pulled out all the stops, except that this was the freest and fairest election in history. But in a simulation, they pulled out all the stops to make sure that they got the other guy in there, no matter what happens off of this, because that's the most horrible thing. There are no more mean tweets. But in a simulation, if there were to be some sort of fraud
in Minecraft,
this isn't going to change what happened. Like I said, he's put his hand on the Bible. He fumbled his way through the oath. He asked Jill for his line a couple times, and he's the president now. Yeah. With that being said, now what this does is this gives an opportunity to look at where the weaknesses are in the system and legislate them out.
Legislate. That word sucks. I mean, I get what you mean, but yeah, no. I think we should just get rid of the whole thing. Just scrap it, start over, or don't. Either way. Just scrap it, dude. It's not working anymore. It's not. I mean, when was the last time we gained freedom?
1776?
I mean, arguably. So arguably, for a few minutes during 1776, we had absolute freedom. That was pretty awesome, I'm sure. I wasn't there, obviously. Joe Biden might have been there, but I wasn't there.
I used that joke already this stream.
That's what you did. Yeah, you did use that earlier. That was about the White House, so that was 1812, 1814, something like that, when that White House was being built. That was a little later on.
All right, we gotta grab some live chat here and
go ahead.
Move up, because I want to touch on at least a couple of these Commie Coop ones that we got to do surprise stupidity. Let's see what we've got here. I'm going to catch up on a little bit of this though. Yeah. Ron Helt says, too bad AOC wasn't just a stain of regret by her father. Just saying.
Damn. That's Harsh, but hilarious. I like it. Love you, Ron.
Ben Wild says, yes, it's a Western-style reign because sometimes you need a free hand to do shit like, rope a cow, shoot a gun, oppress a minority.
100%. That's true. I like it.
Saint says, go home, Mom. You haven't had enough to drink.
Oh, Kamala? Yeah. That was funny.
Let's see. And they're talking about the rough terrain on the border. And, yeah, agreeing with us on why you use a horse. Nephilim Ninja is here, and he is the captain now. Chilaga is here. He's late, but what's up, Ed Heads? Welcome in, Chilaga.
Yep.
Nailbender says, excuse me while I warm up the wood chipper.
Chilago also said, what's up, John? I'm just saying that you skipped right by that.
Oh, I did say that.
Of the attention that I'm getting. Just saying.
Nailbender is warming up the wood chipper.
Yeah, it needs to be warmed up. Might want to oil it too. It's going to be doing some work.
There's some NPR acronyms I can't read.
I think
Spartan says they got off the plane and straight to rape. Both Biden and Trump wanted to take Afghans. Zero betting clearly. Nailbender says National Pussy Radio. Ben Wild says no penis really.
Yeah.
Ron Helton says nicest propaganda radio. Spartan says one I can't read.
No balls. No balls.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to have punitive action.
Not that way. Not that way.
You'd rather it be something you said. See, that's what I'm the same way. I'd rather it be something that I said that gets me fucked up, not something the chat says, I get it.
Nailbender says cyber ninjas. Don't give Seawall too much credit for what he does for a living. We'll never hear the end of it.
Oh my god, dude, for real, Cyber Ninjas is such a cringe name. Oh my god, we're Cyber Ninjas. We're like cool and stealthy and stuff. Like, oh my god, get over yourself. Jesus Christ.
Spartan says, reminder, Biden still owes me $600. I was told $2,000. I only got $1,400.
Oh, that's right, yeah. But no, with the other $600 stimulus, that equals $2,000. So you actually got the right amount of money. Oh my god.
Ron Hilton's spicy tonight. Hinckley given unconditional
Ron.
release. Biden considering full pardon if he wasn't such a bad shot.
That's funny. Although it wasn't Hinckley's fault, right? That stupid Secret Service agent did his job, He died for the cause.
All right, we got to do a little bit of comic coup stuff. We're not going to get to all of it, unfortunately, but we got to do a little bit of it here. And the first one I got to do is we need to screen a PSA because it's very important that you know the information in this PSA. Hold on. It's playing. It's auto playing because I backed it up at the beginning. All right, let's change the scene and let's do this.
God, I hate getting shots. Why do I gotta get this stupid COVID vaccine anyway?
Peter, it's COVID. You should know how to say it. It's been well over a year.
Yeah, I only ever read it.
So, if it isn't the mommy-to-be. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to be competent today. Now, before I administer the vaccine, do you have any questions?
Yeah, how does your vaccine work?
Well, think of the vaccine as a large ethnic bouncer and COVID as the drunk entitled white kid yelling, "Do you know who my father is?"
God, do I have to do everything? Vaccines have been around for hundreds of years. They helped eliminate smallpox from the face of the earth, and they're well on the way to doing the same with polio. Those were once devastating diseases, you understand, and now, thanks to vaccines, you don't even have to worry about them. What do you say, Brian? Should we show them how it works?
Well, I have a date with that chick that works at the bowling alley. What the hell? Where are we?
We're inside the fat man's body.
Fine, I'll text her. I'll be late. There's no reception.
Oh, yes, there's too much plaque in his arteries. You'll never get a signal. Anyway, vaccines protect us from illnesses by activating our immune response without the danger of actual infection, thereby training the body to fight off the real thing. Some of the COVID vaccines work by exposing your immune system to proteins which resemble the spike protein of the virus but cannot infect you. The vaccine stimulates your immune system to make antibodies against the virus, mimicking what happens when you get COVID, except that you don't get sick with the vaccine. The mRNA vaccines actually use the genetic code of the virus to create a pretend version of the spike protein.
Hi, I look like the virus, but I'm not the virus.
When the real virus tries to attack your body, these pre-made circulating immune proteins are already available, coded to recognize the virus and at the ready to fight back. They essentially find, bind to, and kill the invading virus, drastically reducing the chances that you'll get sick. The vaccine also results in the creation of memory cells that will fight the virus in years to come.
Memory cells, right. I'm glad you said that. I was going to touch on it.
Don't do that. So the more quickly we all get vaccinated, the more quickly we can all get back to doing the things we love safely.
Right, like that chick at the bowling alley.
Yeah, I was thinking of, like, concerts. As of now, billions of COVID vaccines have been administered safely to people around the world. Brian, I think you're stepping on Peter's liver.
Help me.
Oh, God.
Yes, let's just swim over here.
All right, well, what Peter might ask is, what if the vaccine makes him sick?
The common side effects from the COVID vaccines are generally mild and last a few days. But do you know what can have serious long-term side effects? COVID.
Well, he also says he just figures everyone else is going to get it, so why does he have to?
Well, what he should understand is that getting the shot not only protects him, but also the people around him. But even more importantly, if the virus is allowed to spread through an unvaccinated population, it could mutate into a variant that the vaccines might not protect against. And then we're right back where we started. Gal Gadot singing Imagine. We cannot let that happen.
Well, I just realized this is like one of those Schoolhouse Rocks. Except, without the rock.
Yeah, it's like school. Way to end strong, Brian.
You know what, Doc? I changed my mind. Something inside of me tells me I ought to get the shot.
I think you're going to be very happy you did.
Okay, just give me fair warning, because I'm very afraid of needles, and also some guy on the radio said...
You're done.
Is that it? That was easy. Is that a freaking Bart Simpson Band-Aid?
Are you going to run out and get the vaccine now?
Oh, dude, I'm on my way. I was actually, while we were watching that, I was setting up the appointment for it. But no, oh my God, there's one part that made me laugh. That was the, what's her name? Singing the Imagine song, Galdo. Yeah.
Gal Gadot.
Singing the Imagine song. I was like, yeah. I was like, spot on. That's fucking hilarious. We can't have that happen again. But we don't need to get a shot to make that happen. All we need to do is just not listen. Yeah, that was cringe as fuck. I don't know if that is like up to par to normal Family Guy humor, because I haven't watched Family Guy in at least, I don't know, like 10 years.
Well, the thing that blows my mind about this particular advertisement for Family Guy is, you remember like back in, I think it was 05, 06, when they were doing the reboot, the first reboot of Family Guy, because they got uncanceled, so they were back on Fox.
Yeah, like Futurama did. Yeah, they were like uncanceled. Yeah,
they got uncanceled, and they did a slap to Big Pharma at that point, because Carter and the people around Carter, Lois's father, had the cure for cancer, and they were just holding it in a room and not giving it out because they were making more money off treating it. So Family Guy can come back, and they can give the finger to Big Pharma and then turn around and carry their water for them in the same breath.
It's Hollywood. That's what it is. It's Hollywood. No, for real. I mean, it's Hollywood, right? So at the time that was made, that was the thing that Hollywood did, and that's you couldn't find a pro Big Pharma, show, movie, whatever at the time. Now, that's all you're gonna find, right? It's all just propaganda, right? I mean, it's all they're trying to steer you to think a certain way, through the art of movies and television. However, like most of Hollywood, they typically think one certain way. It's pretty, monocultured over there. Even if it's not like racial or whatever, but it's monoculture, right? They're mostly leftist, and if you don't agree with them, then you shut the fuck up. Otherwise, you're not ever going to find work. I mean, we see that issue with what happened with Chris Pratt, right? He posted like some kind of like pro Jesus, pro America thing, and he was just fucking automatically canceled. He was no longer like America's sweetheart like he was when he was on Parks and Rec or Jurassic World, I think, whatever it was.
Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, with the obsession with Marvel probably
too.
Pushed him up there.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So that one, yeah. But the point being, though, is that everyone steps in line. Even Seth MacFarlane, Otherwise, you're not finding work anymore.
Right.
So I don't know if that's what he actually believes. I have no idea. But the fact is that, he had to get in line. Otherwise, he's not making more money.
All right, I got a little bit more cringe for you. I do want to touch one more before we get out of here. I know we're over at time at this point.
Oh, no,
so
I'm fine. Yeah, go ahead.
A couple of cringy tweets that came out of this. This one here that I responded to as "It's not a cult." God damn it, I picked the wrong scene again. Jessica Ballinger tweets out, Parker, when I read him the headline that Pfizer's early results of their trials are showing that COVID vaccines are safe and effective for 5 to 11-year-olds.
Yeah, they're safe and effective for all of those.
Look, I know you can't see the screen right now, but you can see the excited kid up there. Oh my god!
Dude, I can't wait until they approve. Oh, there we go. I can see it now. I can't wait till they approve the vaccine as safe and effective for like embryonic fluid. You just fucking put it right in the pregnant woman's belly, and then just boom, kids vaccinated before they come into the world. Oh, you're right. God damn. All right, so like as soon as they're born, that's when they get the vaccine.
Well, yeah, that's right, because that's when they become a baby.
Yeah, sometimes we'll see. We'll see if that actually holds up. Who knows? I mean, it could be like up to like 8 years old. That they actually become a human. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, I can't wait till they do vaccines for fetuses.
And then I have this one here. Patricia Carvelis tweets out a picture of herself getting the vaccine and says, "Memories of the happiest day of my life." She is a presenter at RN Drive weekdays at 6 p.m. on ABC News, podcast and overbearing mother. I wonder how our kids feel about that the vaccine day was the happiest day of her life.
Yeah, that's fucking gross. Disgusting even. Reprehensible even. Like, even if it is, which makes you a terrible person, at least lie about it. At least be like, oh yeah, the birth of my kids, of course. Like, at least have the human decency to lie that that's your favorite day. How dare you? Oh my god. What are you doing to me, Ed? You're killing me over here, Ed.
I mean, I responded to this tweet. I did because I thought to myself, what's the happiest moment of my life? It's too far down. I can't find it anymore. I tried to find it on Contemporary, and we wasted 5 minutes doing that. But yeah. I did respond that, I think to myself, at some of the highlights of my life, personally.
Yeah.
Like when I spent the hot and romantic weekend with that girl who wound up becoming a model for Kohl's.
Yeah.
I would like to think that my happiness level would be up here, reminiscing about the moment that my lips touched hers.
Like a certain Roman salute, perhaps, that you're doing right there.
Yeah, I probably should have kept my hand in the camera there.
Yeah.
But because my hand was angled when it was up there, but it was out of the camera shot, so nobody will know that.
You only have your word there, but court of public opinion says it wasn't. So
I would like to think that the moment my lips touched hers were a much happier moment than getting medicine shoved in my fucking arm.
But not if you're in, and we gotta talk about that, right? The cult.
Yep.
If you're in the cult of the coof, that is the happiest moment when you're like, you've been reborn, as you might be able to compare that to, right? Once you get the jab, you're reborn, and that's it. Now you're fully in the cult. You're an accepted member of the cult, and everything is great for you from here on out.
All right, there's one more that I want to touch on for this, and this is one that came out of Idaho. I have so many questions about this. I have massive questions about this news story and everything that happened here. But we're going to read from the Daily Mail, and it's archived, so you don't get all the IAs from Daily Mail here. Story is titled, "Mama, I Don't Want to Die." 20-year-old daycare teacher's haunting final words to her mom before she was intubated and died of COVID. So, an Idaho mother says that that's the last thing her 20-year-old daughter told her before she was intubated and placed into a medically induced coma while being treated for COVID-19 was, "Mama, I don't want to die." Summer Carr told the station KTVB that she assured her daughter, Cleo Shepard, that she was going to survive. On Monday, the young woman suffered organ failure and died without ever regaining consciousness. Shepard lives in Ontario, Oregon, and worked as a daycare teacher when she contracted COVID 2 weeks ago, ultimately resulting in her hospitalization. And there are the pictures of Miss Shepard. And I'm sorry to say, but I think there was a comorbidity there.
I can't see the picture yet, but I imagine I know what it is.
You imagine you have an idea? 20-year-old that got the COVID and died?
Right, that perhaps she might be the size of maybe 20-year-olds, perhaps?
I'm looking at the picture, and I might go with 3.
3? I mean, I can see like a leg. She looks kind of big, but I can't really tell from just those 2 pictures that are on the screen right now. Maybe, I don't know if you scroll down to see more, but...
No, there isn't. There are a couple other ones there, but I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, second from the left. There she is right there. Oh, you got to wait a little bit, but...
Yeah, I'm going to have to wait like 20 seconds probably before I can see it. But yeah, I mean, that would be my guess, right? And it doesn't mean that she deserves to die. Like, don't
no, absolutely not.
Deserve to die from it. But the fact is, like, they're portraying it as, oh, look, she's young and presumably healthy. That's what they're saying. But
healthy at any size.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it, like, dude. I'm a fat dude. Oh yeah, okay. I'm not nearly that fat, but yeah. I mean, not even close. That's like 3 of me. Holy shit. But like, I get it. Like, I mean, I would be scared if I got it. I'd be like, oh shit. Like, I'm kind of overweight, unhealthy. Like, oh no. But she's a little bit more than that, and so I would get why she might have been taken by it. But, yeah. I mean, I'm sure even I would survive. It's just, you gotta have. Oh, does she have diabetes? Do we know that?
That it doesn't say. There are some other questions that I have.
It's not going to say that. Yeah, it's not going to say that, but that would make sense.
Her mother declined to give her vaccination status.
Oh, so they didn't even say whether or not she was?
Well, yeah, her mother doesn't want to say because she doesn't want to get politicized.
It's too late.
It actually says that in the article.
It's too late for that. That's what the article makes it politicized.
Yep. Yeah, her mother has
both sides. What we just did just now, we're going to have both sides of that debate being like, oh, look, right? It makes our point for us. Like, both sides are going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we're like, oh, look how, big and fat she is. Well, the other side's going to be like, oh, well, she was unvaccinated.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, was she? I don't know. Let's get that information because now it's politicized. It's in the news. It's politicized. Nothing you can do about it. You can't just be like, oh, I don't want. Well, unfortunately, because of the left's beliefs, the personal is political. There's nothing you can do about it. You're politicized from the moment you're born.
Yep.
Like, that's it. You're already politicized. There's nothing you can do about it.
The other interesting thing to me, and this kind of caught my attention now, I know that Western Oregon is fairly red still, and most of your blue is in kind of the Portland area, or I'm sorry, Eastern Oregon. I'm used to my East Coast vibes. Eastern Oregon is fairly red, and then mostly what you get for the big progressive movement is out in the Portland area in the blue. But I looked up because this woman lived in Ontario, Oregon, which is like right on the state line going into Idaho. And she initially went to a hospital in Oregon, but was later airlifted to a hospital in Boise. Now, I'm sure small town Ontario, Oregon probably doesn't have the same kind of hospital facilities as Boise is. But I also can't help but realize she moved and died in a red state instead of a blue state.
Yep. So now she's an Idaho COVID death as opposed to an Oregon COVID death, right? Yeah. And you got to wonder how many times that happens.
Yeah.
Throughout the country. Yeah.
Well, it's not.
Yeah,
that's nothing new. I can tell you that as well. I mean,
sure.
Where I grew up in Redacted, in northern Wisconsin, there was no hospital in a town of 300 people. I was born in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because that was the closest hospital that had delivery services. Right. It was 3 miles away.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. It's just. Well, that's the thing, but you're not going to see that in the numbers. There's not going to be an asterisk next to the name that says, oh, well, really, they're from here and this is where they got it, but they just died over here because it was close. You're not going to see that kind of nuance. It's never going to happen.
Well, I mean, it's the same. It's almost the reverse of what I do because I've never said I'm from Minnesota because I've never held a residence there, but I was born there.
Right. Yeah, technically, yeah. Yeah.
So, well, Godspeed and God rest her soul. F's out to the family, of course. F's in the chat. Throw those F's up, guys. Because, we still got to pay respects to the family, no matter what we consider about all this. Because all the deaths are tragic. They do have a GoFundMe out for her to help pay for the funeral. But with that, I think we're going to call it on the news for the night. I think that's all we have time for, but I do have a little bit of surprise stupidity for you here. So, you like Star Wars, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan, actually.
I know you're a big fan of The Mandalorian. You've gone through the religion of all the different Star Wars factions.
Yep.
Which I very much enjoyed, by the way.
Oh, thank you, yeah. I should do it again for the new channel. I should do all that kind of stuff again.
Well, here's an article from Scientific American that talks a little bit about the Jedi.
Oh, I'm so glad you're doing this. Oh my God, yes, let's do it. Oh my God. You have no idea. Let's do it.
Scientific American, in an op-ed, says why the term Jedi is problematic for describing programs that promote justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. They're meant to be heroes within the Star Wars universe, but the Jedi are inappropriate symbols for justice work.
Right.
A little bit of brief reading for this. I'm going to go through the last 4 points of this, just over the top 2, and then we'll get to the first one, because that's where the meat of the stupidity is. The acronym Jedi has become a popular term for branding academic committees and labeling STEM, science, technology, mathematics, and medicine initiatives. Focused on social justice issues used in this contract, JEDI stands for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. In recent years, the acronym has been employed by a growing number of prominent institutions and organizations, including the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. So this is actually a carryover, and they added justice to this because DEI has already been a thing in schools, diversity, equity, inclusion.
Yeah.
So that's a thing, and they're going to add the J to it so they can put justice to this. Whether intentionally or not, the labels we choose for our justice-oriented initiatives open them up to a broader universe of associations, branding them with meaning, and in the case of the Jedi, binding them to a consumer brand. They're going to argue that justice-oriented projects should approach connections to the Jedi and Star Wars with great caution, and here's why. And I'm going to leave the first one here for last, and we're going to do the other 4 first. So,
all right.
Star Wars has a problematic cultural legacy. The space opera franchise has been critiqued from trafficking and injustices such as sexism, racism, and ableism. Think, for example, of the so-called Slave Leia costume, infamous for stripping down and chaining up the movie series' first leading woman as part of an Orientalist subplot.
Oh, that's the point. The point is how that's wrong. The point is that slavery is wrong. That's the entire point. There's so many, so many instances in Star Wars where slavery is a thing and the point of the plot is to end it. That happens so often. Anyway,
Jedi connects the justice initiatives to corporate capital, which means we don't want to give a bunch of money to Disney over this, basically.
Yeah, fair enough. I get it. I wouldn't either. Fair enough.
Aligning justice work with Star Wars risks threatening inclusion and a sense of belonging.
Well, yeah, Jedi were pretty exclusive, by the way.
Yeah,
go ahead.
We'll be talking about that in just a second.
All right.
And then the last one, the abbreviation Jedi can distract from justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. When you think about the word Jedi, what comes to mind? Chances are good for that many. The immediate answer isn't the concept justice, or its comrades, equity, diversity, and inclusion. So yeah, it's overarching at this point. But I want to go to this top one, the first one that they did for this, because that is where the stupidity is. The number one thing the point that they wanted to make is the Jedi are inappropriate mascots for social justice. Although they're ostensibly heroes within the Star Wars universe, the Jedi are inappropriate symbols for justice work. They are a religious order of intergalactic police monks prone to white saviorism and toxically masculine approaches to conflict resolution, violent duels with phallic lightsabers, gaslighting by means of Jedi mind tricks, The Jedi are also an exclusionary cult, membership to which is partly predicated on the possession of heightened psychic and physical abilities or Force sensitivity. Strikingly, Force-wielding talents are narratively explained in Star Wars not merely in spiritual terms, but also in ableist and eugenic ones. These supernatural powers are naturalized as biological, hereditary attributes. So it is the Force potential is framed as a dynastic property of noble bloodlines, for example, Skywalker dynasty.
God.
And Force disparities are rendered innate physical properties measurable via midichlorian counts, not unlike Force genetics tests, and augmentable via humanoid engineering.
Okay. There are so many things wrong with this. Let's start at the beginning, okay?
I know I picked the right one for this.
You did. You've triggered me, Ed. How dare you trigger me, sir? This is ridiculous. This person has obviously only seen the movies and has not looked at the expanded universe of Star Wars, because there's all these things are explained. No. So first of all, so the whole can you go back to the beginning, the first part that they were talking about? Because there's so much to it. Yikes! There's so.
The Jedi are inappropriate symbols for justice work. They are a religious order. Oh, we gotta wait to connect here again for a second, because my stupid Spectrum internet.
All right, so I just my internet.
You froze up for a second.
Right.
No, it was mine.
Yeah.
It was. I saw the symbol pop up. It was mine.
Oh, okay.
They are a religious order of intergalactic police monks prone to white saviorism and toxically masculine approaches to conflict resolution.
Fuck that. First of all, okay, no, they took anyone who was Force adept, anyone who had the ability to use the Force. All kinds of aliens were like aliens as in non-humans were Jedi. Tons and tons of them. In fact, the Grand Master of the Jedi Order was Yoda, right? Who is a little fucking green thing. His species doesn't have a name in the Star Wars universe. It's just the Yoda species. And before him was a female of the same species, was the Grand Master. So that's at least 1,800 years of that species being the Grand Master, as in like the very top rank of the Jedi Order, right? Her name was Yaddle before Yoda. It was Yaddle. So same species, obviously female beforehand. Like, no, that is bullshit. They accept all the aliens. In the movies, yeah, they might have been white saviors, I guess. They weren't. That's not their job, is to be saviors.
Samuel L. Jackson would like a word with you.
That too, yeah. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson with his awesome fucking purple lightsaber. Like, the reason that existed was because Samuel L. Jackson himself, like, requested. He's like, I want a purple lightsaber. And it actually says on his hilt, on the lightsaber hilt, it says BAMF on it. Just like the wallet in Pulp Fiction. It says badass motherfucker on his wallet. It says BAMF on his lightsaber hilt. It's fucking awesome. Badass, dude. Don't fucking talk to me about this white savior complex that they have. No, they're supposed to arbitrate disputes unbiased throughout the galaxy. That's their job, right? That's the Jedi's job. Can we move on to the next one now? Now that I've just utterly destroyed that fucking point. What's the next one?
Toxically masculine approaches to conflict resolutions, violent duels with phallic lightsabers, gaslighting by the means of Jedi mind tricks. Would that be aggressive negotiations?
That might be aggressive negotiations. However, they were aggressed upon in the first place. They were there as diplomats, and they were aggressed upon, as in they deployed gas out of the vents. So that was actually defensive use of violence, and also only against droids. So totally fucking no problem. At worst, it was property damage. All right, not that bad. But anyway, so talk about obviously the first movie. But what was it? It was just like
gaslighting by means of Jedi mind tricks. Yeah, toxic masculinity.
Before that, toxic. What does that even mean? In what way were they toxically masculine? I don't understand how, like, where that's coming from. I can't even think of an example.
Apparently, like, that's the aggressive negotiations was the toxically masculine part.
Oh, you mean by the villain of the entire two trilogies? Like Anakin Skywalker, who was the one who said that line?
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be by the villain. So the villain is toxic masculinity? Like so that you should be okay with that. That should not be a problem. Right. And I don't think he was toxic masculinity because he was very unmasked. He's very effeminate. And why the fucking reason why he went all to the dark side, because he was weak and tried to supplement his personal weakness with physical strength, right? I mean, that's not very masculine. I'm just saying, like, that is not a masculine trait. To be, emotionally weak is not a masculine trait.
I'm going to send you this article because I'm sure that you probably want to go over this in more depth. We got to get out of here.
Yeah,
we're almost 8 o'clock.
I can absolutely just rip this fucking thing apart. I can rip. Oh god, it's so dumb. So dumb. All right, so we'll go ahead.
Let's do some live chat. That was hilarious, by the way. I'm glad I chose that one.
You picked the right. You were right. 100% right. You picked the right thing because that triggered me something fierce. That's ridiculous.
Where were we at? This is back where you put your link back in here. Ron Helm says polio, except when they're polio jabs that maim and kill people. Bill Gates' polio vaccine in India and Africa, as reported by ABC News website. Saints begging us to turn off the PSA.
I agree. I wish we had.
Nailbender, Gates needs his ass kicked, lunch money taken and stuffed in a locker, just like his entire high school career.
Disavow, but don't disagree. Yeah.
Ron thinks we'll get a strike for this. I don't think I will because it's a PSA because they want to do the jab propaganda, and they didn't. I didn't get struck for that before because I already played that on Contemporary once and I got nothing for it.
Okay. Then,
no strike for that.
Fine. It's probably fine then.
You can. Yet Chalaga is convinced. Nailbender says, I have an exemption form. It starts with "We the People." So no, I will not be getting the jab.
Nice.
Tails 303 is here with a yo yo yo. Welcome in.
What's up?
Marie May Begole.
I never know how to say her name.
Seth MacFarlane looks like a panda wearing human skin.
Yeah, that's fair.
Saint will be in the Discord after the show, so if you guys want to go over to the Edgeworld Discord, it's been in various links throughout the show, so go and check that out.
I'll join in as well. I'll tell you what, I'll join in as well. I'll be there for a little while.
I'll probably hop in on my iPod because I got to get up and start making meatloaf, but yeah, I'll pop in. Max9 is here. That's a new name. I've seen that name before. I think that's a Stephen Ignoramus guy, but welcome in. Koof Cult Killers, like a bad B movie. Yeah. Katie Zed says Land Whale. Katie Zed is here.
Katie Zed, I like Katie Zed. She's in our chat too.
Marie awesome. Says Hershey Bar positive. Saint says Man the Harpoon Boys.
That's mean.
Tail says Humpback Whale.
So rude, you guys. You guys are rude.
Katie Zed says, how does a 20-year-old even get that big? I have a cousin who was bigger than that at 20.
I've known maybe one person in my life that has been that big at that age. And to be fair, it wasn't his fault. He was also like 6'8". He was also like 6'8". And like also like over 500 pounds. It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, my cousin was on an epilepsy medicine that was actually causing thyroid problems, but
yeah, exactly.
She didn't help it with her diet. I can tell you that.
Yeah, of course. So like there are problems that can occur, but again, it's that like the tiny minority of people that like, oh, now we can make an excuse for everybody because like sometimes somebody somewhere it won't be their fault, right? So therefore, for everyone, it's not their fault. Like it's just come on, dude, stop.
Marie says, let's start with that she didn't die from anorexia.
That's true.
Katie Zed says the slave Leia outfit is kind of hot and I'm not even a lesbian.
It's true. It is, though. Although Carrie Fisher, I don't know. She wasn't even that hot at the time. Unpopular take.
I liked her.
I'm not saying, yeah. No, hang on. Because Would Smash and Is Hot are two completely different characteristics. So it's two completely different judgments.
I liked her voice. Her voice did it for me.
Her voice was really good. But I mean, she also was a 70s girl, like at the time, right? I mean, so it's a completely different standard of beauty.
Yeah. Nailbender says Jedi didn't care about people having slaves. That's why Anakin's mom was freed by them.
Okay, so hang on, because that's not true at all. Obviously, they were against slavery, but they were also diplomatic in the way that they're not going to use violence in order to free slaves. They would rather, use treaties, they would too tied into the Republic, the government, in order to enforce that on people. Like, they're not going to free the slaves, but they're anti-slavery for sure. They really were.
Katie Zed says this just goes to show that if you're always looking for racism and sexism, you will make it up when you don't find any.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Max9 says the audacity of believing you can free humans, like saving the earth, such ego.
I mean, you can make humans more free. Is all any one person can do. You make people more free. But to free them completely, they have to want to be free themselves.
Let's see. Nephilim's looking for a link for your channel. Can you throw another one of those up there if you could?
Yep, I got you.
Oh, you already got it. Nephilim says, I still think Snoke should tie into being Samuel L's character after being electrocuted and falling. I don't know enough about Snoke because I didn't watch Rise of Skywalker.
Good, don't. I think Snoke should not have existed. It was the most fucking limp dick villain I've ever seen in all of cinema. He was just I'm just some super powerful, awesome dude because I tell you I am. And then the first time he has a chance to do anything, he just fucking dies super easily without any kind of contest or any kind of adversity, which is how movies are fucking made nowadays. Don't even get me started on this bullshit sequel trilogy. God, there's no adversity at all. They just do the thing because the script tells them to do it. Go ahead and move on before I get triggered again all over again. This is horse shit. Snoke was the worst villain. He wasn't even a villain. He was just a vehicle used. I'm doing it again. It's just he was just a vehicle used to move the story along. That was it. He was not meant to be a serious villain. I'm done. Please move on.
Haha. Nailbender says, to be fair, sand does suck and it gets in places no one wants to talk about.
Agreed. That's why sex on the beach is not a good thing. Don't do it. I know it might sound fun and romantic. Don't do it.
Saint says, remember kids, every legal compensation commercial is for a product approved by the government.
Yeah.
Chilaga is subbing to Du Bois, as he says.
Thank you.
Nailbender says Carrie's voice was that way because of all the drugs.
Hey, and whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, dude. Whatever it takes. It's a good voice.
Nephilim Ninja will get last word of the show here, and he says, I agree, no big dick energy in Snokes.
For real.
Well, John, that's all that I have here for the day. Let's throw some music up, I think. What do you think?
Should we
throw some music? Should we do some music?
Let's do it. Music is always good.
We'll do it like Steven. Hey, should we do some music?
Should we just do some music, guys? Yeah, for sure.
All right, so thank you everybody who came by and chatted with us today. This was a good show. We got a lot of stuff accomplished. We ran a little bit long, but sometimes you got to go on a week like this too. So a lot of stuff covered, a lot of stuff we had to skip, unfortunately, but still a lot of stuff to do. So thank you everybody who chatted up in the live chat. I will be back here tomorrow morning for more contemporary. So come back. If you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button and come back for more antics tomorrow morning for that. We'll be talking about some crazy stuff like this nursing thing. Otherwise, go and check out TurnSomePagesProductions.com. Go and check that out. Also check out the fundraiser that we have going for that as well, because that is definitely something that will help us get up off the ground and you can be a part of bringing this forward. I've got a couple donations now. We're up to $400, $1,600 to go. If you guys want to get some news from people who are not wearing suits that cost more than your house, give us a check out. Go check out the GoFundMe. Definitely will be a help for everything else as well. Otherwise, John, when's the next time you're going to be live?
tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, the Porch Boys will be live. We'll be bringing you meme reviews, news, and funny videos, as well as our enlightening commentary. Enlightening, maybe? We'll see. Could just
Don't
be retarded,
oversell
who
it.
knows? Only one way to find out. Join us.
You can go and check that out. And thank you again for helping me out here. We will see when we can get Elaine back at some point. I've got to reach out to her as well. But we're going to head out of here for the day. So thank you, everybody, once again. And also make sure you go check out The Porch Boys, The Daily Ignoramus, The Breakdown with Perkinoff, The R-Rated Conservative, and Freckles and Brit Show. Go check all of those channels out. We can get links to those in any Discord that you want. Check out the Discord. Check out the Twitter. That's at EdsBlock Twitter. Or the one in place of the I, or The Porch Boys, BOYZ, over on Twitter. Go and check that out as well.
B-O-I-S.
B-O-I-S. All right, and we're going to be out of here for the day. Thank you, everybody, for coming and checking us out. And as I always say on this channel, never take the words of bloggers, podcasters, or journalists as gospel. Find all the facts and draw your own conclusions. John, lead them out with some last words.
Yeah. Listen to what Ed said, because he's a smart guy, and he knows that you should also watch The Porch Boys. Oh, yeah.
Take care.
See you guys.